Woke up with the window open, sun on my floorboards, mind wide open. I left the doubt by the door, or didn't need it anymore. Pulled on my shoes, hit the pavement, heart in my chest, I could feel it saying, girl, don't wait for a sign. You got this life, it's mine, it's mine. So I'm running toward the spark, even if it starts small. One brave step, then I give it all. Another rail, another day. Love this life, let it play. Be happy, breathe it in. Live your dreams, let them begin. Another rail, another spark. Keep it bright, keep it hard. Love this life, let it stay. Be happy, shine away. I called my friends from the corner store, said, come on down, there's room for more. We danced in the kitchen light, laughing loud on a Friday night. And if the road gets a little wild, I keep that green, keep that inner child. I know my name, I know my song, I've been growing all alone. So I'm running toward the spark, even if it starts small. One brave step, then I give it all. Another round, another day. Love this life, let it play. Be happy, breathe it in. Live your dreams, let them begin. Another round, another spark. Keep it bright, keep it hard. Love this life, let it stay. Be happy, shine away. If you fall, get up singing. If you doubt, keep on dreaming. The best part's still ahead, right where your heart's at. Another realm, another day. Love is life, let it play. Be happy, breathe it in. Live your dreams, let them begin. Another realm, another spark. Keep it bright, keep it hard. Love this life, let it stay. Be happy, shine away.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Oh, good afternoon. You can hear me, right? You can hear me. 10-4, A-OK. You can hear me. Yesterday, I had serious mic problems yesterday. All right. Hi, everybody. How are you? It is a Tuesday after a long weekend. It feels like Monday. Always confuses me on these days. You can hear me well. Okay, good. Good. I hope you all had a good weekend. I hope you all did some fun, amazing things and made memories for your life. We had a okay weekend. We were traveling. You guys know that. We were traveling, but we're dealing with forest fires here, wildfires, and it's pretty scary. Nerves are on edge for everybody. Savvy just told me there is over 200 homes now that have been destroyed. And that this is just the beginning. Those are literally just the houses they could count along the shoreline. So they won't be able to get a better judgment until they're able to get in to the neighborhoods behind the shoreline to see how bad it is. And it's just been crazy morning for me today. Like my allergies there's something in the smoke that's like triggering me. I've been sitting here, my eyes have just been like absolutely pouring all morning. So bear with me if I end up like sneezing and all that stuff, okay? Wow, you're persistent, aren't you, Vincent? Are you wanting my attention? Are you wanting my attention? You come in here and troll me almost every day. You've got my attention. How's it going? So, yeah, sending prayers and love to everybody out there that's been affected by fires. I know there's massive fires going on in the States as well. Spokane has got like a huge nightmare going on. I was reading that they've actually charged somebody with arson, which is freaking fantastic news. Um, but like even up here in Kelowna, our local news was showing this morning that the RCMP found two little spot fires in downtown Kelowna right beside each other. So it's clearly arson, and somebody is going around and just lighting things up. And oh God, it's just really, really bad stuff. On top of climate change and drought and all that, it's insane. Yeah, so there was a commercial building downtown, and somebody set the shrubs on fire in two different spots in front of the building, and luckily they got it out. It was just shrubs that burnt, but it could have took off within seconds, which is just so scary. I hate this time of the year, to be honest with you. Okay, and my phone is giving me alerts here. Give me a second. Wildfire alert, Central Okanagan Emergency Center, evacuation orders. 1 second. One sec here. Evacuation orders for two. Okay, so this is just a reminder. Evacuation orders for 2,223 properties will remain in place today. Okay. And their little their ups. 1 sec. Their little map here is starting to worry me. Every time I look at the little map, the circle they show for the fire is quickly, they keep like including my side of the lake now, which really scary. Hopefully you guys can see that. So we're lake country. So that's what we're all worried about. We're worried about like it just takes one spark to jump the lake. And well, touch wood, it hasn't. Thank God. It hasn't jumped the lake. 2023, it jumped the lake within like 30 minutes. So keep praying it doesn't jump the lake. And it seems like the winds today are not bad, so that's a good sign. So yeah, so I'm focused on you guys today. Valhalla, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. You're amazing. Thank you very much. Whoever has gotten those memberships, please make sure you thank Valhalla for your memberships. Thank you very much. That means a lot to me. What have I got for you? I got some sort of special thing for you. Let me play this one for you.
Before you go to bed tonight, I want you to remember this. Nothing drains you more than your own mind. Stop stressing over what you cannot control. You did enough today. You are enough today. Let yourself rest in that truth, my friend. You're going to be okay. I promise. Before you...
Much. I got all these little clips that I keep forgetting to use, so I'm using them on members now. Thank you so much. Welcome to the White Raven Tribe. Congratulations to those of you that got memberships. That's awesome. I have a members live scheduled for Friday. This Friday, I booked it for 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we're going to start doing this on Fridays in the evening. It's going to be a members only like recap of the whole week. So we'll do a recap of everything I covered for the week, etc. And then I also have a members live booked for this Sunday for the tier 2, my second tier for the group readings people. Okay. So group readings members, I have a lot of you now. We got a live for Sunday scheduled. Okay. So thank you so much. I love you all so much. There you go. How's it going? Good morning. How are you? Hello. Good to see you. Love being mom of 4. Good for you. I bet you're a fantastic mom. And Jules, thank you so much for the silver star, Mom. I love ya. Thank you for being here. So we got big things, big things. I don't know if any other creators have covered this. I haven't seen it on anybody else's channels. Well, we all know that, like, it looks like Sheriff Nanos is in some trouble here. I couldn't believe it when I found this morning. I was like, I got to go live right now. He's in big caca. Like, not just Nancy Guthrie case. He's in trouble for previous stuff. So we're going to go over that. Hi, Trish. How's it going? Thank you. So while we get started, everybody please hit the thumbs up button for me. Do all the stuff, please. If you're in the background and you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. Hello, BB. Good to see you, babe. Hi, honey. Yeah, so please hit the subscribe. Please consider joining and becoming a member of my channel. It really helps out. It really helps me out. Memberships is like the number one thing you can do to help a creator. So please consider being a member and, all the stuff. I don't usually ask, I usually don't do this. And that's why I'm kind of fumbling over my words. I never really know what exactly to say. I see all these other YouTubers doing it smooth as pie, but so I'm trying to get it out there. Subscribe to my channel, eh? There you go. Hope that helps. Hi, Hope Floats. Hi, Doodlebug. Thank you so much for thinking about me and thinking about everybody. Yeah, there's so many people that have lost their homes. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. And some of these people have now lost their homes twice. So they lost their home in 2023, rebuilt, and now it's gone again. I can't even fathom what they're going through. It's insane because insurance companies now, they're not covering. They're not paying. They won't insure. So I don't know what these people are going to do. I really don't. Thank you so much, Christy Lynn. Good to see you, babe. Thank you very much for the 100. What items will be added to my store in August? I honestly don't know yet. I'm almost sold out. You guys did so well. You can see that one shelf, that's all I have left. So give me a few days. Give me a few days, please, because I got to sit down and make new product, figure out what I'm going to do, what I'm going to remake. I do have certain products that I continuously remake that people keep asking for. So I got to do those. I got to do new stuff. I could do whip soap. Yep. I've got whip soap stuff. Yeah. So just give me a week. I'll let everybody know when the store is restocked. Keep an eye up on my website. Just keep checking the website and you'll see if there's new things up there. Yeah, I'm getting my creative juices going. I can't wait till this heat is over because I can't do candles right now. So I've done no candles because there's no point. There's no point. Shipping them is an absolute nightmare in the summertime. So I'm waiting for the temperatures to drop before I can do all that. Thank you so much, Doodlebug. I appreciate you, honey. Okay, so we ready? We ready. Let's jump on to this stuff here. Chris Nanos, I tell you, just crazy, isn't it? Missing my candles and wax melts. I know lots of people are. I did ship candles last summer, if those of you remember, but it was such a pain in the ass, to be honest. Like packing and packaging up everything was such a nightmare. I had to actually use ice packs, and yeah, it didn't work well. Hiding from the flames. That's right. That's right. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Christy Lynn. Thank you, babes. All right, so let's look at this article here. Which one is this one? Okay, this is from the New York Post. And it says Nancy Guthrie sheriff hit by $176 million lawsuit alleging dangerous incompetence. Sheriff Chris Nanos, the embattled lawman leading the Nancy Guthrie investigation, has a new $176 million problem. Wow. Alex Melendez, 24, is suing Nanos and the Pima County Sheriff's Department after deputies shot and paralyzed him while responding to a phony swatting call. Okay, this brings up a major topic that I'm going to talk about. A phony swatting call. This is the second major lawsuit against the department in 2 weeks. The shooting happened even though Melendez warned the sheriff's office that he was being targeted for swatting. And even though he posted no threat at the time, his lawyer said. Oh my God. So this technically is referring to these people that are like on YouTube, creators on YouTube or whatever social media platform it is, and people are calling in fake calls to the police, fake swatting calls, and this kid has ended up paralyzed because of it. This is such a major thing. I didn't realize it until just now that that's what had happened. It was a false swatting call. I've been on YouTube for 18 years, okay? I've seen a lot of people go through false swatting calls where viewers have trolled them and called the police and claimed, whatever, they're going to hurt them, the creators attempted to hurt themselves or whatever. This is exactly why all of us creators beg you not to do this. This kid ended up paralyzed. He's lucky he's alive. Wow. That's actually quite shocking. Someone impersonating Melendez called the sheriff's department around 6 a.m., stating that his father had shot his sister. Deputies then smashed his bedroom window with a shovel and climbed inside, guns drawn, according to the documents. Melendez heard a commotion outside, woke his mom up and told her to hide, then cowered behind a door with the family's legally registered firearm. Officers fired 7 shots through the door, hitting him in the leg and spine, the legal notice said. Oh my God. Okay, I'll show the video in a sec here. Melendez was allegedly on the edge before the raid. He had been menaced by an online stalker who threatened to call in bogus bomb threat at his house, says his attorney. Melendez called 911, but the operator allegedly told him not to worry. The dispatcher told Melendez, "They can't just SWAT on you. That's not how it works," and assured him that nothing's going to happen. Oh my God. So he actually called the sheriff's department to warn them that people are calling in false calls. The sheriff department then received a suspicious call to Melendez's house, which they determined to be fake. Officers alerted Melendez and assured him that he should be all right, promising to warn him if they get any more calls to his address, according to an instant report by his lawyer. Less than 48 hours later, another swatting call came in, and that one ended with deputies opening fire and paralyzing him. I'm shocked, to be honest. Shocked. Sheriff Nanos is already facing another multi-million-dollar lawsuit over the alleged botched investigation into the disappearance of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. Carlos Pazuelos, I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, Zolos, I don't know, and 2 other members plan to sue the department for $3 million after deputies arrested him and raided his house in the days after the mother of the Today Show, Savannah Guthrie, vanished in February. A notice of claim says deputies threw their guns on Carlos, took him into custody, and kept him for 7 to 8 hours before releasing him without any charges in the town of Rio Rico, about an hour south of Tucson. Wow. Carlos is seeking $2.5 million, while relatives Daniel Maddox and Josephine Maddox are seeking $500,000 and $250,000, respectively, after deputies executed a search warrant to their home, held them for questioning, and allegedly damaged their property. Wow. Carlos also targets Nanos for allegedly refusing to clear his name after the sheriff described him as a person of interest to reporters last week. Wow, so it's still going on. Okay. The Pima County Sheriff's Department declined to comment, stating that they do not discuss pending litigation. As for Melendez, Alex is a shooting victim whose life will never be the same. He's not just looking at years of medical treatment and a mountain of hospital bills. His life has been shattered. Wow. Okay, let's see what this does here. All right, so these are just photos. It's not a video. So this is Melendez's bedroom. That's the door. Okay, you can see a foot coming through the door. And then we got Nanos. And that's from the body cam footage. I can't believe this. That's Alex graduating, actually walking, being like, this was before it. Nanos again. Look at his face. And then this is Carlos, 2.5 million. Wow, my heart breaks for this kid. I can't believe this. This is exactly what we're talking about in the swatting and doxing. You know, when you're on the internet, the big thing is don't dox people. And you don't dox people, period. You don't dox people's addresses because this can happen. People call the police over nothing. And then, yeah, I can't believe it. He's been paralyzed for the rest of his life. Okay, so we're going to jump now to Brian. Do you guys have any comments about it? I've seen a lot of people swatted over the years on YouTube, and I know it happens on TikTok too. It's insane. Yeah, I don't know, Kat. I'm sure they did. I don't know. Didn't say specifically. But Yeah, deplorable, isn't it? Ridiculous. El Paso, Texas. I've heard about the El Paso one. I haven't really looked at it very much. This lawsuit was filed almost immediately. Yeah. 2 other people in Carlos' house is suing, right? Supposedly Luke is going to sue also. Yeah, that's what the article kind of sounded like, that they had rushed the door and they'd actually broke his window with a shovel. Terrifying stuff. I just don't do this, people. Please don't do this to people on the internet. It's just wrong. Okay, so let's see what Brian Enton has to say. Man wrongfully detained in the Nancy Guthrie case. Okay, so this is about Carlos. I'm pretty sure this one's Carlos.
After one of the most high-profile abduction cases in modern times, and Nancy Guthrie's family is still no closer to getting answers. Now new reporting on the mysterious crime is providing a deep dive on the investigation and really just a damning picture of dysfunction at the sheriff's office, starting all the way at the top. According to a lengthy Wall Street Journal investigation, the first investigators on the scene did not think the blood on the porch was a big deal, assuming initially that it was not related to Nancy Guthrie going missing. Now, of course, we now know the tests confirm that it is in fact Nancy's blood, and detectives now think it came from getting hurt during the abduction. The Journal highlights the failure to secure the crime scene, something we've talked about a lot over the last several months, and it's the reason News Nation was able to first get those images of the blood spatter that we showed you right from the front porch. The porch was freely accessible to reporters. I was there. Reporters were able to walk up, delivery people, basically anybody who wanted to walk up to Nancy Guthrie's front door because they cleared the crime scene. The report cites department sources to portray Sheriff Chris Nanos as petty and out for revenge against his rivals. According to the Wall Street Journal, after his re-election victory, he sidelined deputies who supported his opponent.
This is crazy stuff. Like, you know, when I swear it is. When I lived in Arizona, one of my relatives is a sheriff in the Cochise County Department in Cochise County. Okay. And when he was first starting out his career, I remember him, and I didn't even clue in until now. I remember him saying that he didn't want to work for Pima County. And none of us really we had no idea what he was talking about. But even then, Pima County had a bad reputation. So he went to Cochise County instead. Pretty interesting stuff. At one point, I did meet a whole bunch of the sheriffs. And there's every now and then when I look at Nanos, I'm like, you know what? I think I might have actually met him at some point. But yeah, the county itself has a bad reputation when it comes to the sheriff's department. Okay, let's keep going. Hi, Lori. Welcome in, everybody. I'm seeing new people in here. Thank you so much for being here. Ignorance must be bliss, right? Okay, let's keep going.
Which brings us to perhaps the most damning of all the Journal's revelations. It reports the department's most valuable search tool sat unused in the crucial first hours after Nancy went missing. The Journal reports they couldn't find a deputy qualified to fly the high-tech Cessna search plane because the senior pilot who was scheduled had just been demoted following a workplace complaint. And again, this is something that we looked into and reported on early on with the investigation.
Oh my gosh. I wonder if I know nothing about law. I'm just a regular citizen in Canada. I wonder if Savannah would have grounds to sue them because of that. If there's any legal people out there, would she have grounds to sue them on like failure to search for her mother? Wow, that's crazy. Hi, Floating Heart. Daisy, thank you so much for the floating hearts. Hi, girl. Nano's second man in charge now also has been in trouble. Oh. He changed his name and came back to work with Nanos under a new name. Okay, and all of this is allegedly and in our opinions. Wow. See, I've never really looked into Nanos on my channel. Like, so many, because I'm a psychic, right? So many of you have asked me how I feel about Nanos, and I know there's a lot of channels out there where they're running with it. They believe Nanos is actually criminally responsible for Nancy's disappearance. I don't believe that at all. Like, my readings tell me, no, I don't see him involved with her disappearance at all in any way. But in one of my readings, I did get that possibly Nancy and Nanos, sorry, my eyes drive me crazy. Nancy and Nanos were possibly acquaintances, or friends, kind of like they knew of each other. Nancy was well known in town, and I flat out in my reading was getting that Nancy had received a birthday card from Nanos. So that's just my reading. Who knows, right? I could be wrong, but that's all I get when it comes to him actually being involved with her disappearance. Now, when it comes to him totally screwing up the case and being a failure, I get 1,000,000% on that. So, yeah. Chris McDonough did a whole show with receipts. Well, there you go. That's fantastic. I haven't watched that. Okay. I believe that officer asked him to please let him fly. Isn't that wild? Isn't that absolutely wild? So seriously, if there's any law people watching this, shoot me an email or put in my comments or whatever. Would there be any sort of legal grounds that Savannah could have over this? Let's keep going.
That pilot had also supported the sheriff's challenger, which was an issue for the sheriff. The report hits right as the department faces a multi-million-dollar legal claim. Carlos Palazuelos was detained in February, then released without explanation. He and his family filed a $3.25 million notice of claim alleging wrongful detention and defamation. And in a News Nation National exclusive, I spoke a short time ago with Jesse Showalter, the attorney representing Palazuelos. Jesse, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you taking the time. I was thinking back today to when I was out at your client's house. There was the big raid that night in Rio Rico.
Remember that?
Everybody sort of thought that was it.
Those of you, we've been, doing the Nancy's case since day one. Do you guys remember this day where they swatted Carlos's house? Remember, we were all like on the edges of our seats thinking, oh, this is it. And it was like live cops action. We never see anything like that we just never see anything like that live, especially when it has to do with an elderly woman that's missing. Remember, and I was glued to my computer. I live streamed as much as I could through the whole thing to show you guys while it was all happening, and just the tension of it all was so crazy. Remember? I was praying so hard deep inside that this was it, that they had found her and they got the guy, and yeah.
That was going to be who was responsible for what happened to Nancy Guthrie.
It was Friday the 13th.
There were so many deputies. They had the whole road closed down. Wow. And then I remember Josefina coming out and just immediately saying, like, this isn't right. They have the wrong person. None of this makes any sense. And I actually believed her. Sometimes in that situation, you would think to yourself, like, oh, maybe she's just in denial. But there was just something about the way she was describing it. I'm like, I think maybe she's correct. Have you been able?
Hopefully we'll find this out along the way. Like, I know he was a DoorDash driver. Is that why they went after him, or did they have any other information that made them go after him? Unless it was just that he was doing DoorDashes in that area of Nancy's. And also he was a courier for some other transport company, right? GF something transport.
To up until this point figure out why they zeroed in on your client Carlos?
Oh, there you go. There you go. Prime example of me here. Hello. I just said exactly what Brian was about to talk about. Yeah.
Haven't, as it stands right now, all of the purported evidence
Pings,
that they used to obtain the search warrant that we think was obtained without probable cause, is sealed, and so we can't look at it, we can't analyze it, and the Sheriff Nanos won't tell us what it is. So, until we're able to do that, until we're able to see the search warrant application and any affidavits with it, we're not going to know what the claims were that brought Carlos to the attention of the Pima County Sheriff's Office, and that's what we're fighting to do.
So even though you haven't seen the search warrant, months have gone by, have you gotten any kind of inkling? Has your client, has Carlos come up with anything? I mean, was he in the neighborhood doing a delivery? Is there something that's crossed your desk where you're like, okay, maybe that's where the mix-up came from?
Yeah, as it stands right now, we've not been able to figure out anything. On the night in question, Carlos was not in that neighborhood. That's our understanding. And the reality is Pima County took Carlos's phone. They did a download on it, and if there actually was anything against him, we wouldn't be here right now. It's from our perspective, it's very, very clear that they made a mistake. What's not clear yet is the precise contours of that mistake. Were they relying on a false tip? Were they relying on maybe bad information from flock cameras or government databases? We don't know, but
wow.
we expect we'll find out because we're on the road toward litigation.
Wow, isn't that wild? Can you imagine if it turns out it was a false tip? Huh. If it turns out it's a false tip, he could probably end up getting even more money, because it's the same thing with this Alex young man that's been paralyzed. It was the same thing. It was a false call. It was somebody fake doxing or like fake swatting. Oh boy.
Carlos give his DNA?
Right.
Carlos's DNA was taken by investigators. They did swabs at the scene, or at his house, or I should say down the street from his house. And, and then, like I said, they took his phone, they took his DNA. That's what we know.
I want to play for you, Jesse, something that Sheriff Nanos said just in the last couple of days in relation to who's been cleared and who's not been cleared. Listen to this.
Absolutely, yes. They could come up again. I think I early on said, look, there is no suspects. The family is not suspects. They're not. Now,
you actually said they were cleared. Now he's backpedaling. That's crazy. Like, it seems like I'm on this point right now. Like, I wonder if Savannah can actually sue this guy as well. I bet you she can.
does that mean that ends it forever? No. What happens if next week somebody calls and says, hey, a family member did this, and here's how I know it? That always opens a door. Because you're eliminated doesn't mean you didn't do it.
What's interesting there, Jesse, is he said that he sort of alluded to the fact in that soundbite that, nobody's cleared, the family could come up again. After he did that interview, though, he did another interview that he put out where he said, no, the family are not suspects. They are victims in this. But throughout all of it, he has said that your client and the other man who was detained at the other raid are not cleared, that at this point he hasn't budged on that. Why do you think he's doing that?
You know, I mean, the statements that Sheriff Nanos has been making are really disturbing because it looks like he's just lost at sea. It looks like he's out of his depth. He doesn't, you know, he doesn't have control of this investigation. He doesn't have
fumbling
leads,
around.
He doesn't even have the ability to exercise restraint in his speech.
I have to say, watching all of these, when he's standing up doing the news conference, I'm always watching the FBI guy behind him. Just watch the guy behind him. You can tell he's trying to stand there and be super professional, right? But you can see the slight face changes on him when Nano says something ridiculous.
You know, it would be perfectly okay for him to simply say, the investigation is ongoing, we're pursuing all leads, and not continue to cast suspicion on people like Carlos or the other individual who was arrested in Tucson by the FBI. And, you know, I think the reason he most likely walked back the statements about the family is public pressure from the Guthrie family, or, you know, pressure from the Guthrie family saying, what are you doing? To me, what I see is, sheriffs are elected officials, they're responsive to voters, and they're politicians. And so this is a politician who's in charge of law enforcement, who's refusing to be accountable, refusing to be responsible, and just kind of trying to stonewall and, refuse to admit that the mistakes have occurred.
Appreciate you for joining us, Jesse. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app.
Isn't that interesting? Okay. Well, I think we've got a place to dive here. I've not watched any of Chris McDonough's stuff. Let me see. My heart breaks for Alex Melendez. Like, my heart feels so heavy for him. So please don't do that, people. Please don't, to the trolls out there that you get enjoyment from it, please don't do that. Melendez. One sec. Alex de Melendez. Let me see what I've got here. Okay, so he was, he had his own social media. Yeah, please stop putting false calls into people. And this kid ended up paralyzed because the sheriff's department shot him. Okay, let me try the interview room. You guys, let me see what I can find on his channel. Nancy Guthrie. I haven't watched him for a long time. Death Behind Bars. Okay, let's watch this. Okay, so we're going to jump into Chris McDonough's coverage. Actually, I don't think I've ever done a commentary on Chris McDonough's coverage. So let's see what he's got happening here. So fair use commentary. Please subscribe to the interview room. Show him some love. Okay, and this is the Nancy Guthrie connects to something much darker. We ready, everybody? Hi, everyone. Come on in. Please hit the thumbs up button as you are sitting down at the door. So Nanos is in big trouble. Big trouble. Like getting sued for how much was it? $170-something million? He'll never be able to pay that. All right, so let's see.
I Unbelievable. Check this out. Can you see?
And holy shit, there I have something in the room here. Sorry, give me a second here. Those of you that are really good at listening for EVPs and stuff in the background, you know what to do. Listen, please. I swear to God, I just saw a shadow go right past me. And I did yesterday too. I had two kids, I believe 2 kid spirits beside me. I just saw one go past me. I never, ever get that. Okay. Wild. Hi, Miriam. Hi, Shirley. You just heard a jingle bells? Okay. And I got woken up in the middle of the night again at like, I don't know what time it was, say 4:30 this morning, to a woman yelling my name, Tara, like clear as a bell, Tara. Yeah, and I wake up abruptly every time, Tara. I'm thinking like, okay, what's going on? You heard jingle also? Okay. That's crazy. Okay, so just keep listening then, in case you hear something else, okay? All right, so let's keep going. I'm not sure where to start on this stream of Chris's, so I'm going to just kind of jump through it a bit.
Everybody see him?
Hang on, let me scoot
You
my
have to
chair.
move over. There
He's got a little dolly with him. Perspective, and to put it in context, that number is 4 times the national average.
You guys can see for yourself the evidence, other things.
For the remainder of the show, is that right?
Yeah.
And then we'll tell you guys what the numbers are at the end.
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start here. I will jump forward and stuff as we go, okay? You heard bells also. See, and I got both my headphones in, so I can't really hear. Okay. That's crazy. I'm sitting here and in my peripheral, I saw something go right past me. So if I got any clairvoyance in here, can you please let me know? I'm not good at seeing spirits. You guys know that. I can hear them, I feel them, I know them, but I can't see them very often.
So we did some digging and we found out that at the Pima County Jail that is run by Sheriff Nanos, he is in
Okay, is this too fast? I've got it up at 1.5.
charge of the Pima County Jail, that since 2018, there have been at least 61 inmate deaths while in custody at the jail. Now, that, to give you some perspective and to put it in context, that number is 4 times the national average of deaths inside any other jail in the U.S.
So if we think about the mortality rates on the national average from 2017 to 2026, that's 3 to 4 times the national rate of deaths in a jail. Now, this is what you're dealing with there as a citizen in Pima County. Okay. This is the guy in charge of Nancy Guthrie's investigation.
That is insane statistics. 57 in custody deaths from 2017 to 2024. Additional deaths 25, 26. Wow, that's wild. My ex at one point in time was a corrections officer, but he was up in Florence, which is like Phoenix, outside of Phoenix. And I remember him telling me that like it was absolutely terrible. Terrible, terrible job. It was terrible for the inmates and terrible for the staff. But that would be a different county. I think that's Maricopa County. I think. Ankle cuffs. Okay, don't scare me, you guys. Okay. let's keep going here. So we're going to be doing this for a while. You guys have got me for most of the day today, which is fantastic. I'm not going to start remaking products until tomorrow. So thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Please hit the thumbs up for me as we go. Please consider becoming a member or sharing memberships for other people so they can join in as well. We're doing a members only Friday evening around 7 p.m. Pacific time. And then I have a group members reading on Saturday scheduled.
Now, here are the numbers as they break down. And by the way, we're being conservative here. There are many more. We think at least 61 plus.
We do at this point. Now, the Pima County Medical Examiner's Office investigates every single jail inmate death. And we've reached out to them. We are waiting to hear back from them. When we do, we will report back to you guys.
The jingle you guys heard was before I started Chris's video. So we do hear a jingle on Chris's video. It's his dog. But you guys heard it before I started this.
But they are in charge. They categorize them, and they'll be able to shed a little more light for us. But based on the research that we've done, this is a pretty good working number right here.
So we're also going to be fair and balanced, but at the same time, the one thing you will learn is we are honest and straight shooters. We're not going to, jump around the bush in any way, shape, or form. We're going to go right through the bush.
Now, before we get to these key findings up on the screen, and to give you guys just a little snapshot.
Thank you so much for finding this, Chris, and exposing all of this. This is super important. Super important for the taxpayers and voters of Pima County.
In 2021, one person died in Sheriff Nanos' jail approximately every 31 days. I'm going to say that again. In 2021 and in 2022, one person died in that jail approximately every 31 days. Many of them were young men found unresponsive in their cell. Again, these numbers are 4 times the national average across the country. And in case you're wondering, like we were, most jails in the United States have the same problems that we're going to get into that are plaguing not just Pima County Jail, but jails across the country. Most jails don't have any deaths in a given year, or at the most 1 or 2. Pima County has a death rate of at least 10 per year. It's really between 10 and 12, based on what I just said. Obviously, something is very, very seriously wrong here.
So essentially, one of the things that we found.
My immediate question is why? Why is this happening? Why is that happening?
Is now obviously going back into 2020, COVID also is going to play into these numbers tonight. We're going to break this all down for you. So not to where your answers or your questions are going to be answered. Okay. But the key findings, the first one is between 2017, 2024, at least 57 plus deaths. And like Karen said, at least one a month.
And by the way, they've had 2 in the last 30 days. And we're going to get to that.
And we're going to get to that. Yeah. So here's the question. We wanted to know it, and that Karen wants to know, and she's also got a conversation, or actually communication into the ME's office, right?
Yeah.
To tighten these numbers up. But these numbers are solid, by the way. They're solid. So not to worry about what you're going to hear tonight. The peak rates here reached 560 to 624 per 100,000. That is more than LA County. It is almost 2 times more than Los Angeles County. I'll just let that sit there. And that is roughly 3 to 4 times the national average.
Okay, so I'm going to just throw this out there. Any of you criminals out there in Pima County, you need to straighten yourself up so you don't get in trouble. You don't want to be going to jail in Pima County. Stop committing crimes. Keep yourself on the right side of the street. Don't get in trouble, because you're going to be even more trouble when you get to a Pima County jail.
We'll let that sit there as well.
And LA County has a number of jails. And
that's the largest jail system in the United States.
Okay, so it's good to know as well.
Okay. The third piece of this, there was a turnaround in 2024. However, that turnaround.
No, unfortunately, I am out of bracelets, BB. I don't have any more bracelets right now. The ones I do have, I don't want to sell them. They're actual like garbage. They're not very good at all. That's what you're meaning? I'm out of bracelets right now. Sounded like something moved, jingle of a dog collar. Okay. Oh, well, it might be June. Or it's Chris's dog. It might be June. It might be June. I'm going to let this play and see what Savvy's doing with June. Give me a sec.
Was based on information that Nanos presented to the Board of Supervisors that, look, a lot of these were, fentanyl overdoses, COVID overdoses, suicide, those that took their own, on the line, killed themselves, etc. But what he failed to tell everybody was his solution, his management solution, was to lock everybody down for 23 hours a day during COVID. So imagine going to jail for a misdemeanor and you are locked in your cell for 23 hours a day. That was his solution.
Chris, just point out real quick, tell people the difference between jail and a prison, because jail, you're there awaiting your trial, and in prison, that's after your sentence, that's where you're staying for your sentence.
Correct. Right? Yeah. So the county jail, it serves two functions. Number one, the court custodial function, meaning the corrections officers are taking prisoners back and forth to court while their trials or prelims or whatever is taking place. And during those.
Okay. Clarification. The jingle you're hearing was Savvy. He came in with June. They were out for a walk. It's June's collar or leash you were hearing. So it was Junie. But I asked him, I said, did she come in my office? He said no. So whatever I've seen out of the corner of my eye, it was not June. So yeah. Yeah, he was terrified of what would happen. Yeah, I don't blame him. I'd be terrified too, to be honest. Yeah, so it was Junebug. Okay, let's keep going.
Trial situations, they're housed in the Pima County Jail. So let's say you get arrested for DUI, which is depending on the severity of it. Let's say it's a misdemeanor. You're held in the county jail if you can't make bail or bond, and you would stay there until you're presented to a court. And once you go into that court hearing, then you're released. Imagine, though, being put into a cell for DUI for 23 hours a day. Well, that causes a lot of mental health issues. And Nanos went to the Board of Supervisors and basically started to use, drugs and COVID and all this other stuff as the main reason people were dying. But he failed to tell the world that his decision to handle the problem was just to lock everybody down. And then, of course, there were staff shortages and stuff. So number 4, right now in 25, 26, there are at least 3 more confirmed, those that are no longer with us. And so those numbers are 3 to 5 more, and the number keeps going up. So how do these numbers break down? Annual in custody deaths and populations. So go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, especially for people just joining us, the problem that we're talking about is, and we're going to talk about what the deaths were blamed on. They were blamed on, Chris mentioned, COVID for a while, fentanyl, people who show up in jail, they get booked, they're on fentanyl, and they're going through fentanyl withdrawal, and they're not getting treated medically, and they end up dying in custody. Suicide in some cases, and then delayed medical care, which is a huge problem there.
Huge problem.
And that everyone, let me just finish this piece and we'll go into that. Everyone agrees that the jail has had major problems for years.
Delayed medical care. That's a big, big problem. Wow.
And, Nanos has not said that there aren't problems. He's been upfront about saying what a huge crisis he's got there. Overcrowding. Here are some of the problems. Overcrowding. Yeah, but so are many, many jails across the country. Awful conditions, staffing shortages, lower training standards for his correctional officers.
And let's talk about that piece of the puzzle just for a second, if you don't mind. Is that okay, huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
Or did I get ahead of you?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. Let me just finish the list.
Sure.
The mental health crisis.
Right.
Jails have become like mental institutions were back in the day before they were closed. We've got the fentanyl epidemic that we've mentioned. And also, I thought this was interesting. At one point, correctional officers were smuggling drugs into the jail for the inmates. I've read different things about whether or not that's gone down a little bit. Things have been implemented where the employees are watched and searched to see if they're bringing in. I know it sounds crazy, doesn't it? I mean, to the average person, if you work in the jail, why would you sneak drugs in for the people you're watching? The bee watchers. Anyway, okay, pick it up from where you were going to go.
So let's talk about how one of his solution sets. One of his solution set was to Go ahead.
Well, do you want to talk about staffing shortages first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So Sheriff's Department insiders told us, they said that Nanos made the already bad staffing problem even worse. So back during COVID, Nanos mandated that the COVID shot, that everybody get the COVID shot, meaning his correctional officers. And as a result, lots of them quit.
Okay, so let's stop right there for a second. Now, let's
I don't know much about that, like about statistics and all that, about like addictions, but I do know like you can die from alcohol withdrawal. And so I imagine fentanyl would be the same. That's crazy. So all these people that are going into the jail and they have addiction problems. Holy shit. Hi, honey. Good to see you. Okay, let's keep going.
take a realistic look at this. So he is having all these things happening in his jail system. And he says, well, the reasons it's happening is because of staff shortages. And that's what he tells the public. That's what he tells the Board of Supervisors. What he doesn't tell the Board of Supervisors is how those staff shortages occurred. And that's what Karen's talking about here. He mandated to everybody in the system that they would be vaccinated with the COVID shot.
Oh, yeah.
That turned into
that was a huge problem up here in Canada as well. The mandating of COVID shots. We had nurses here that were refusing to get COVID shots and they were getting fired. It was the same thing. Nurses in our hospitals. And we have like serious nurse and doctor shortages here in Canada.
a mass exodus of corrections officers. And so his solution for that was, rather than give them, a get out of jail free card, i.e. not making it mandatory, but making it voluntary, he let them go. They all left. That created this huge gap. And that's where the majority of these incidents of death start to occur.
Well, they did start a couple years before that.
But they really exploded under that time. If we look at the numbers, okay,
for sure.
They exploded. And we're going to look at the numbers. Now, so what does he do? Well, the hiring standards now get lowered.
And the training standards as well.
And the training standards, because all he wants to do is fill a gap. And so literally, you have corrections officers who graduate high school and they go to a 4 to 6 week training with 4 weeks.
And then 4 weeks with a correctional training officer.
So they go into the jail around hardened criminals, potentially, right out of high school.
That's got to be so scary for them.
That's crazy.
That's terrifying.
That is absolutely nuts.
My ex told me many times he was nervous there. He was nervous. Certain times, I guess it depended. I guess there was like, sometimes there was more tension amongst the inmates than other times. And he was actually nervous, and he's ex-infantry. He said he would go in, and some mornings you just felt it. You just felt it. There was a serious tension from all of the inmates. The inmates were pissed off about something. Not getting health care, human rights. Like, it doesn't matter, right? No, that's just, I can't.
All right. Now, credit to the corrections officers. Their job is extremely dangerous because it gets worse. He opens up these pods and has over 100 and something inmates in these. Some corrections officers are managing 2 pods simultaneously. Okay. And we're going to get to that as well.
Yeah.
So where do you want to pick up from what I'm talking about there?
We can talk more about that. So a typical jail, you would think one person goes into a cell and they lock the door, right? That's generally how it is, or maybe 2 people. And I think we kind of think that for how it is in prison. So what Chris is saying, there's these open pods where the inmates can walk around. I don't know too much about it, but it's definitely not, 1 or 2 people in a locked cell. And then you've got 1 correction officer per pod, or sometimes he or she is watching 2 pods at the same time, which could be probably over 100 inmates.
Right. So you have 1.
Those statistics are just like, holy crap. 1 or 2 officers for 100 inmates. Well, everything comes down to money, doesn't it? Everything comes down to money.
One corrections officer for maybe 130 to 160 inmates. So that's 130 to 160 to 1. So what else does he do? He introduces additional tools. He introduces the tasers, and he introduces mace, and that's it.
Yeah.
So they're not armed in there. Is that right?
No, they can't have any weapons in there.
As the correctional officer.
Correct. So now you have 130 to 1 with a taser. You guys are going to see where this is going, because that taser then becomes the go-to weapon versus hands-on.
Right.
Which in a jail facility, hands-on is the best way to go. We used to call it gang fu. You want to get like 4 or 5 people and everybody grab a limb and hold the individual down and then restrain them. And you're going to see how this is leading up into these numbers that I'm putting on the screen here. All right. Everybody tracking me so far? And by the way, how's the poll doing? What are the numbers on the poll? Let's give you the numbers on the poll real fast.
Looks like we've got almost 3,100 votes.
Do that. But their mentality right now, sheriff's mentality, not necessarily the corrections officers just trying to go home at night.
Right.
But the sheriff's mentality is, you know what? Just tase them.
It's not
Let's
much.
just tase them. Now,
from what I understand, correctional officers and sheriffs and like city police in Arizona, they don't make much at all. Like literally just a little bit. Like I'm not going to say a number because I don't know, but I remember when I heard how much my relative was making as a sheriff in Cochise County, and I was shocked. I was making more money than he was doing, like, logistics industry. Shocked. They do not get paid very well. Same with teachers too. Teachers down there don't get paid very well either. It's totally screwed up.
I've booked a lot of people in jails. I spent 9 years on the street before I was in, the homicide bureau. And my dog, when I was a canine handler and when I was a vice detective, et cetera, and a patrol officer.
Right.
Well, we didn't have tasers. And tasers didn't come until, the late 90s, late 80s, 89, 90 is when taser really started to show up. Okay? And so you would just have to, talk them in. We used to say, I'd rather talk you into the car than beat you into the car. And so the art of communication was much more important than the art of electrocuting somebody, firing them up. Okay? Well, when tasers hit the street, they used to be in a glove box or the trunk of a supervisor's car. And as, the company grew and law enforcement agencies started to utilize them more and more, now they become, on the hip of each and every one of these individuals, the officers on the street. On the street, those are great tools. In the jail, not so much.
Is that because close contact makes it even worse?
It makes it worse. And plus, the deputies will hold it on longer instead of using it. Remember, the taser is used to get somebody into custody. Okay?
Right.
Not when they're already in custody. And so if you think about a jail setting, well, they're already in jail. All right. And so you're going to have to make sure that you have the tools available, i.e. shields and manpower, to take an inmate and get them, in custody. But the problem is once they start to get them into the chairs, they're using the taser as the device to get them into the chair. And there have been some serious problems with that. Cardiac arrest, all kinds of stuff can happen if somebody, has that type of problem. So when you look at these numbers here and you go, okay, what's going on above this line? You've got to ask yourself, who moved the dial? And the person that moved the dial is Chris Nanos. And when we hear about his background, where he beats a prisoner with a flashlight, does it bother you as a citizen that he's zapping people in the jail? So the national benchmark, how does Pima County stack up? 167 per 100,000.
Wow.
National benchmark. The peak in 2021 was 600 and 24.
Are these deaths?
Per-
Or are these, is this a statistic?
Yeah, these numbers are how they stack up, statistically against the other national benchmark. The national benchmark is 167.
Per 100,000 people.
Per 100,000. And Pima County is 624, approximately 3.7 times higher than the national average. That is higher than Rikers Island
In New York.
Wow.
in New York, which was described as one of the roughest jails in the United States.
Yeah.
What are the manner of death? Look at these numbers.
Natural causes.
34% natural. The second one is really scary.
It's almost 30%.
The third one is really scary.
Well, for people who can't see, the second one
Is
hanging.
taking your own life. Taking your own life. The third
is equal to the other one.
How do you
29%.
mostly overdoses?
Yeah.
Mostly overdoses. So you have to ask yourself,
Yeah.
okay, well, if that's the case, then there has to be there's a control problem
Yep.
of contraband coming into the facility. Is it coming through the correctional staff? Is it coming through visitors? How's it getting into the facility that you have a 3 out of 10 problem into the facility?
Wow.
Why does the sheriff not know this? And why his solution for this, by the way, was to obtain 4 narcotics dogs. 4 narcotics dogs. And they're trained on fentanyl and other drugs, opioids. Okay. But wait a minute. Are the narcotics dogs, if you feel that there are staff bringing these drugs in,
Right.
why isn't the staff being arrested?
That's a great point.
Why aren't we hearing about,
Such a
if
good
Nano
point.
says, well, it could be staff, it could be, visitors, it could be whatever. Okay. Well, then why don't you have controlled visiting areas and controlled staff entrance areas?
That goes back to his huge staffing issue, his
Mhm.
problem.
That's exactly
He
right.
created it, and now he's feeding into it.
And
Yeah.
and that's where number 3 on the right side, the contributing factors. Okay.
Can you read those? Most people
Staff
can't.
Yeah, his
shortages,
reported contributing
operational.
factors is there's a high prevalence of substance use and disorders and a mental health problem. I agree with him that there's a mental health problem. That's a given. That's a given.
Yeah.
Because back in, I think it was 1889, when President Reagan shut down all the mental health facilities across the United States.
That's wild he says that because they did it here in Canada as well. It's so weird, actually, now that you think about it. And now we've got a worldwide drug crisis and mental health crisis. Canada did the exactly same thing. We had huge mental health hospitals up here. Like one in, there's several in Vancouver. They shut them all down. Like, bye, kicked all the people out. And now all these people are on the street and barely functioning. So it's interesting to hear that United States did the same thing. So both of our countries did the same thing around the same time. Why? Why? And now we have a serious epidemic going on. It doesn't make sense. Like, we have such a serious problem up here. And everybody's like, well, you need to reopen the institutions we had. Like, the buildings are still sitting there. All they would need to do is just go in, renovate them, and adjust them to current times and start getting people the treatment they need. But these governments, they just won't do it. And they just won't do it. Lately, I've caught myself, I swear to God, I'm feeling old lately. I'm in my 50s now, and I'm looking at the news, and I'm like, all I can do is shake my head. I'm like, what is wrong here? Like, it's not just Canada, it's like worldwide. What is going on? Things have changed so much in society all around the world, from like even at my age, even like from the 80s and 90s, things have drastically changed for the worse.
Now the jail facilities become the mental health facility. And
Hi, Donna.
that's not a good thing. Now you add narcotics on top of that. And there's a misnomer. People think that you can die from heroin withdrawals. You can't. You can get the Joneses and you can get the shakes and you can get the sweats and all this other stuff. You know what you can die from, though? Alcohol withdrawals, DTs, detox.
Yeah.
Most opioids, they have to just put them in a monitor room and you just have to keep checking on them. And a lot of jail facilities have these rooms where you have to keep, the medical staff just keeps an eye on them to make sure. Or they start to wean them off, which is what they call the juice programs. Okay. And that's where, remember back in the old days, you're going to go get your cup of orange juice because, you're hammering it.
Yeah.
Okay? And you're taking your methadone, which is a 24-hour cycle in what they call the plasma life inside your system. You stay high for 24 hours and they put you on a juice program and then they peel you off. Okay. They peel you off carefully and slowly. Now with fentanyl, obviously that's another game here. That's very dangerous. So his solution was, we'll send them to the hospital if they have as much as a sniffle.
Well, that is one of the things that Nanos did. He changed the jail booking, situation. He changed the booking procedure, but not for the better.
Actually, it was 90 because it had to be much later than this because I was on the street.
90s.
We were taking them to the hospitals, even in the late 80s. But
actually,
let's double check that.
Well, boy, I'm on top of it today. I was just about to say to you guys, I'm going to check the statistics on that. And then Chris says it. That's the third time I've done this today. Okay, so I'm going to let this play for a bit and I'm going to do some research in the background, at least find out roughly what the time era was for here in British Columbia. I swear it was the early 90s, I would say.
Okay, so Sheriff Nanos changed the booking procedure. And what happened was they were stopped accepting inmates without first a medical evaluation. So that means when a sheriff's deputy or an officer with Tucson Police Department brings a suspect to the jail to book, the first person they see is a nurse who does a medical eval. If anything is wrong with the person, then they're taken by that arresting officer or deputy to the hospital for further medical evaluation. So what does that mean? That means that cops would have to be at the hospital for like 3 or 4 hours at least with each suspect that they were arresting.
Yeah. So
what would that have been like for you as an arresting officer?
Well,
if you had to do that.
Let's do the math for the public. So let's say you get somebody who, you're going to book into jail with a felony. Okay. Now you show up at the jail and the first intake officer, before they even put the band on them, because you put your hands through the suspect puts their hand through the bars and they put an ID band on them. Then they go and the nurse comes in and does a medical eval. And they ask you a series of questions. Do you want to hurt yourself? Do you have any ailments? Yada, yada, yada. If you say yes, then they say, okay, well, give me a little more. What do you mean? And so it's like a triage, basically. And these nurses are amazing. I mean, these jail nurses, man, they're like superheroes. Okay.
Hi, Susan. How's it going? Thanks for being here. How are you, Donna? Hope you're doing good, honey. Good to see everybody here. Thank you all for hanging out with me and doing this. We're not in a hurry today, which is nice. So kick back, relax, hang out with me. Please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I see lots of you in the background, but nobody's talking. So come forward. Come talk. Come talk, please.
There goes the meatloaf. And so from there, if the nurse says, okay, yeah, you're good to go, then they can book you and you go to the next phase. You go to the booking window. All right. At least that's how it is in San Diego. It's like that in every jail. I guarantee it. They're all carbon copies. All right. So what did Nano say?
Okay. So it says here, Riverview Hospital, which was one of our largest mental health facilities here in British Columbia, was officially closed in 2012. So interesting. So I guess it was their way of cutting down on funds, money, like ridiculous. And look at the problem now. The problem is so bad all over the world, but in Canada and the United States, it's really bad. Hi, Jenny.
If somebody comes to from another agency with a prisoner, and I want to keep my numbers down, I don't want these problems in my jail. So if they come in and they go like that, and the nurse goes, "What's that?" and they don't have an answer for it, they say, well, you're going to have to go for a deeper medical eval. And so they tell that officer, you're going to have to transport him to the local hospital, i.e. the ER or wherever. For us, it was the emergency rooms. And you're going to have to get a doctor to sign off on what they call fit for booking and what they call a fish slip, meaning the booking slip. We call them a fish slip. And the doctor, you're going to have to bring that paperwork back and present that to the medical staff the second time around. Okay. Well, the problem with that, you folks in Tucson, is a lot of these officers are now tied up for 2-3 hours.
Or longer in some cases.
Off the street. And so what they do is they do what they call, an OR, they own reconnaissance, they cite them and release them. And then they do what they call a long form, meaning they submit the paperwork to the district attorney's office for charges down the line. Now.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, Phyllis. You're from New Jersey. Thank you. Look at the smile you just put on my face. Thank you for being here.
Honestly, how many DAs are going to look at these things and say, yeah, we're going to charge this guy? All right. Because they're looking for a win rate and they're looking to get reelected. So you end up in this cycle of, it's a round robin. It's a round robin. And by the way, you, the taxpayer, are paying for those bills. You're paying for it.
Wow.
Every time an officer walks in to the ER with a prisoner, the hospital is billing the county or the police agency, whoever brought him in. Okay. So the taxpayer is picking up that tab. And Nanos knows that. It's not a hit on his budget because he's not accepting them into his jail. All right. So it turns into a political football, all for the sake of the argument of, well, I didn't want this person hurt or whatever in my jail. Even though the jail is equipped with a medical facility and can handle it themselves. I mean, they're very competent and they're very capable. However, Nanos wants to make himself look better. So that's the program that he put into place.
Wow.
Now, here's the downside to that. Now you have criminals being released back on the street.
Yeah.
Or they're not even being arrested. And they're being coddled. And unfortunately, the downside to that is the average citizen doesn't really know this until it's too late.
Yeah.
If we think about the guy that just shot up a whole bunch of people recently, where was that?
In Tucson, city of Tucson.
How long ago? Like a week or two ago?
Yeah, maybe a week-ish ago. Week or 10 days, maybe.
So this guy had fired a rifle and shot at his employee, and the DA didn't file on him. They OR'd him. They kicked him out the door because he had, yada, yada, yada. Well, then he's out, and he goes and he does it again. And only this time it has severe consequences.
Yeah, he shot 9 people?
9 people.
Something like that.
Wow.
That was the most recent situation, which would cap off what I'm trying to explain here. All right. And this is how dangerous this is, where if you're worried about, people's feelings or their nose, they got sniffy noses or whatever the deal is. Okay. We got a problem in River City.
I want to give everybody just an idea of, what we're talking about with this medical clearance. It hasn't worked. Inmates are still dying in the Pima County Jail. And there's many examples. Here's one, and just one in particular. In July of 2023, so 3 years ago, Joel Loya, he was 41. He died in custody. Well, he was medically rejected during his initial booking. And by the way, he was booked for a probation violation. Okay. So they brought him in. He was medically rejected. He wasn't able to be booked. He was taken to the hospital where he was evaluated, and then he was cleared for booking. Loya was on a detox protocol. So they bring him back to Pima County Jail. He starts vomiting. He was transferred back to the hospital where he died July 31st of 2023, 5 days after his arrest for a probation violation. An autopsy ruled his cause of death was acute pancreatitis, sudden inflammation of the pancreas, which can be life-threatening. It has many causes, including alcohol, drug use, and internal trauma. So that's just one example of, and that was considered, it's one of the deaths in the jail in 2023.
Wow.
So this medical clearance situation that Nanos has set up isn't working. And we know that because they're still having inmates dying at a record rate.
Yeah. I mean, that's a sad situation where a guy has a probation violation. Okay, fine. So he screwed up. Okay, fine. But that's not a death sentence.
Right.
I mean, this is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. I mean, even going after, streamers. Okay. You got people dying in your jails and you're worried about a guy on YouTube who's cleaned his life up.
Yep.
And I mean, Alex, you know, he knows what he's done in his life. He's trying to get his life together. And you're spending more time on that guy than you are these people dying in your own facilities. What is wrong with you? Now, Alex knows I don't make excuses for his behavior. He knows that. I respect him for that, and he respects me for my position.
Right.
But my gosh, don't you have other things to do? I said that the DA would drop the cases against these individuals that were out in front of that house for Nancy Guthrie. And sure enough, they dropped the cases.
Yep.
And they put that guy into a situation where the deputies did not want to arrest anybody. And they put that into motion. Well, let me tell you about one other case that's going on right now.
I have to say that, you know, we all watched that happen, right? And we watched Alex get arrested and Juice. And we did see that one sheriff, and you could tell he was basically like, I don't want to do this. You know, I'm being told to do this. I really don't want to do this. You could tell, right?
In Pima County that I know on the ground. And that deals with a detective. A detective recently was ordered by a captain. What's that guy's name? Navarro? Or what's that guy's name? We need to look him up.
Yeah.
Is it Navarro?
It is.
Okay. Captain Navarro, I'm on you. He ordered a detective to write a search warrant knowing there was no probable cause. Now think about that, Tucson. And you think about that, Nanos. You're worried about a YouTuber when you've got command staff ordering deputies to break the law?
Wow.
And you were looking for a green shirt and you hit a house?
Wow.
Knowing that green shirt wasn't there at the order of your command staff? Shame on you.
Wow. Good for you, Chris. I'm glad you've said something. Like, I'm hoping this makes a difference. Like, literally, I'm hoping Chris Nanos has seen Chris do this, coming from a retired officer, calling him out, right? Wow. I'm sure it won't make a difference, but you can always hope, right?
You should all be investigated by the DOJ.
Right.
And you should be monitored by DOJ. Because that deputy right now is on suspension. Because he failed, rightfully so, to follow that unlawful order.
Yeah.
We're talking about civil rights violations to citizens in Tucson, Pima County specifically. When you have supervisors ordering deputies to go down in front of people's houses and tell the person they're about ready to arrest, you know, I really don't want to do this, but I'm under orders to do it. And then you have command staff telling detectives, well, write a search warrant, get a search warrant for that house. Well, sir, I don't have probable cause to do that. I don't care. Get a search warrant. And that detective says, no, I'm not going to do that. And then the captain says, well, then you're suspended. And that deputy now is on suspension. And you know who it is. And when you have a supervisor like that in a powerful position, well, no wonder Nanos is able to screw up Nancy Guthrie's investigation. This is a problem. It is a problem. And we're just getting started.
Serious problem.
You're messing up our profession. You're messing up the good deputies on your department who are doing the right thing for the right reasons. And the Board of Supervisors should look into this latest one.
Deputies who risk their lives every single day. They literally put their lives in danger every single day. Wow.
That I just mentioned. Just reach out and find that deputy. Actually, just go ask the captain why he suspended a deputy recently for failing to follow an order. And then go ask the deputies who arrested the YouTubers, which subsequently the DA looked at it and go, no way, guys, no probable cause here. I'm dismissing these cases. These types of things are not a good look because the world is watching now. This is a different game. It is a different time.
So getting back to the inmate deaths.
Yeah.
So this situation is so serious, was serious, and continues to be serious that the local PBS station in Tucson did a whole expose on this. Excuse me. And we're going to show you a clip of part of the video. It's on YouTube. You guys can go watch it for yourself. But it really underscores the problem what we're dealing with. And they sat down and confronted Sheriff Nanos about this.
Me too.
And you know what?
Hi,
his
Kate.
reaction is quite alarming. Do you want to play that or do you want to wait?
Yeah, no, let's get to it. Let me get over here. Well, let me show you this slide here because this is a very powerful slide. These are the names of all the individuals that have lost their lives in the Pima County jail systems since 2017.
It's a lot of people.
Wow.
There are a lot of people here, hanging.
And this was from local Tucson media, and they got this from the medical examiner's office.
Now, look at this, guys and gals. This has to stop. This has to stop. I mean, there are 61 something deaths here. Serial killers don't even have 61 something deaths over a 10-year period. Think about that. Why is this happening? And it's happening because of incompetent management. When you put a person in charge and give them the power to take away your liberty. That's the one thing I learned as a law enforcement officer many years ago. This badge, that meaning the badge we wear, okay, is a badge of trust.
Mm.
It's a badge that says this represents the trust of the courts, the trust of the victims, the trust of the person you're arresting, and the trust that you can carry it correctly and do it correctly. It's not about power, where you wear 4 stars on your collar. I know a lot of great managers in law enforcement. I've worked for a lot of them. John Lamb's a good example. But when you take that trust and you violate it this many times,
wow,
on top of all that you did before you got there, and then you put your minions underneath you to tell them to arrest people without probable cause, and then think you don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what?
Yes.
I care. And I'm going to call you out on it.
Yes, I remember this vividly. I was really surprised at what that officer said to 857. It was flat out, you're gonna, like you could tell he was like, I don't want to do this. This is, that's crazy. The officers clearly didn't agree with what they were being told that they had to do. It's like Nanos wants to shut everybody up. He wanted all the media cleared out of Nancy's neighborhood, which I understand, though. Some of the neighbors were being harassed. I get it. Especially the older neighbors that are there and continue to be scared for their lives. They're scared that something's going to happen to their house or to them in their house. I can't even imagine the fear that these older people are experiencing. But yeah, he's done this completely the wrong way. Just completely the wrong way. I firmly believe that if they had have continued to allow the media be on the street front of Nancy's house, that would have continued to apply pressure to him to get stuff done, to get Nancy found, to get all the answers that we're asking. So having everybody removed and banned from the area, in a way, it's taken the pressure off of him. And that's what he wanted. That's what he wanted. I do believe that, in my personal opinion, I believe the media and everybody, they should all go back. You should have 50 of them sitting outside of Nancy's house. But please be very respectful to the neighbors. Be respectful to the neighbors and be professional. But I firmly believe that the pressure needs to be put on this sheriff. The pressure needs to be put on him because he's doing nothing. Nothing's being done. Unless something's coming down the line that we don't know about. which, you know, I've said this to you guys a lot the last couple of weeks or so. All of my readings, like, you guys know I do readings on the spot. Okay. And I can do a reading on a case in 5 minutes. I've never been able to drag it out long. I just get real fast readings. Okay. I'm flat out getting that the FBI they know who's done this. Nancy's case. They're just doing all their little red tape to be able to go in and arrest these people. I firmly, firmly believe they know who's done this. And I firmly believe Savannah knows who's done it too. And let's just put it this way. I think, this is my opinion, and this is according to what I'm reading of the situation. I hate to say it, but I believe that Savannah is going to almost be grieving twice when this is done and over with. Figure out what I'm saying here. She's going to be grieving two situations here, not just her mother's disappearance. I firmly, firmly, firmly believe it. I firmly believe she already knows in her heart what's happened here. I can't even fathom what she's experiencing, the stress she's under. If I'm right on what I've got here, well, yeah, it's coming, people. It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming. And I have been subtly saying since day one who I believe has done this. Figure out what I'm saying to you. And also pay attention to the other channels out there that are kind of like copying me. Pay attention, please. I find it very irritating. So yeah, I believe she's going to be definitely like grieving two members of her family here, even though one of them's still alive, but I'm getting she's going to be grieving the loss of a relationship, a family member relationship, for sure. Maybe more than one, maybe 2 or 3 family.
Well, you bring up something very important that really the public needs to really understand. This erosion of the public trust, you can't get it back. And the leadership that Nanos has shown has caused great disrepair, if you will. I mean, there's no transparency, very little. We'll talk more about that. Distrust by the public is a really awful thing. It's like once the genie's out of the bottle, you can't put it back in. And it shows itself every single time a deputy goes.
Those of you that are with me and you're with me daily and you know my readings and everything I say, because I don't sit down and do huge videos saying my remote viewing of blah, 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 blah. I don't do that shit. I just tell you what I'm getting as I'm getting it. I said a few weeks ago in one of my readings, I was getting sibling rivalry. Flat out. I'm getting one sibling can't stand the successful sibling. Flat out. And I did this weeks ago. Pay attention, people. Like, flat out. I'm getting serious, almost hatred for the successful one. Jealousy. Yeah. Big time. Big time. So, yeah, I'm saying it. When you see I'm going to say it. Please be careful of who you're trusting out there. If you see other psychics out there basically coming out with what I've already said, just pay attention, please. I said this weeks ago. It's really irritating. So that's what I'm meaning. I believe she's going to end up having to, like, well, she could possibly already be grieving the two relationships, right? One's her mother, one's her, say, sibling. And then I think we've got a few others that are further out in the family circle. And then you have acquaintances of those further outs. Big time. It's coming. And I'm hoping to God it's today, tomorrow. Also, I forgot to mention, I have AJ, if you're watching me, check your email, please. AJ, I sent you an email the day before yesterday. Please check your emails. It's really, really important, okay? All right. So let's keep going.
On the street to make an arrest to help clean up the neighborhood or the community. And it makes other people's job really, really that much more difficult. The distrust of public officials is awful for a community. So this erosion has a lot of repercussions.
Yes, Lori. Yes, I said that in the very beginning. Yes, not necessarily a teenager. It could. I'm getting somebody really young, like I was saying, in their 20s. Yes, I see somebody's son. Somebody's son. Yes. Okay.
That people don't think about, and to have the public confidence takes a long time to build. And when you have an elected official come in there, you know, like a bull in a china shop and destroy it, it can take years for a community to get it back. And, you know, it's one of these intangible things, but it's everywhere. It's in conversation between people.
That's another thing too. She's, Chris and Karen are making me think of some really big things here. Nano still to this day has not come out and tried to comfort or reassure the public in that neighborhood. Like, he's not once come out and said, okay, I think you guys are safe and you don't need to worry. This was an isolated incident. He's not done that. So all of Nancy's neighbors are still there, still freaking scared to death. And I don't blame them. He's failed his public. Like, seriously, his citizens. He has not come out and made any sort of statement for the residences of Tucson to say, yeah, you're okay. I don't think it's going to happen again. Or that lock your doors at night, make sure your security cameras are going. Please take care of your elderly relatives. Nothing.
You want to have faith and confidence in your public officials. If you don't, your society is degraded. Your community is degraded. Does it have to be that way? You know, be careful who you elect.
Yes. And well, what happens is, to answer this question and to answer the other one about what are the statistics between Pima and, you know, Maricopa, et cetera, Pima's winning. Unfortunately. Yeah. And to answer this question, if you follow an unethical order or an unlawful order, you are opening up yourself to civil liability. Mm-hmm. Now, the only way you can cover yourself is you have to put it into your report that you were ordered to make that arrest or to do.
So civil liability, that goes to the beginning of this live stream. He's definitely now being sued. Crazy. I've never come out and really talked about the YouTubers that were arrested. But I do believe that, anyway, I haven't come out and talked about it because I haven't agreed with how the neighbors had been treated by a certain person. But I do believe and agree that accountability for the sheriff's actions must be taken. Like, it's got to be done. So she knows how. Yep. So she knows he did it somehow because she put it together. But yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, could be that, BB. Yeah. Yeah, a bit of a panic yeah, like reading the situation, I see a bit of now of a panicking, backpedaling, going, what the hell do I do now that they're figuring out how close this person is to them? Yeah. Okay.
Something just like the deputy did when he went down and he arrested the YouTubers. Now think about this, okay? And trust me, if somebody did something wrong, I'm the first one to tell you, guys, we got a problem, all right? But if you have national media, and real fast, and why this is important to understand the totality of this, when you have national media in front of Nancy Guthrie's house for 2 months, maybe 2.5 months, they're setting up tents, everybody is there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 4-foot easement that is public property.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? That's called the First Amendment. And your responsibility as the law enforcement agency is to make sure their rights are protected under the First Amendment.
Yeah.
Now, let's say that national media decides to go cover another story and they leave their tents to a bunch of citizen journalists and say, hey, you can have this tent. We're leaving.
Yep.
But they want to stay there. I'm not even going to debate for what, because it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
Yep.
And they stay there, not harming anybody, not, maybe being, an eyesore to the local community or whatever. Well, the national media for 2 months was an eyesore as well. And people were complaining to the sheriff. Okay. Well, you don't get the right to say, you know what? We don't like these people here anymore. So therefore we're going to go down and start arresting people and making up, charges to fit, i.e. nuisance charges and all this other stuff. And then go after people and say, you know what, we're getting complaints from all the neighbors, because a good defense attorney is going to say, well, haven't you been getting complaints for like 4 months? Well, yeah, but you're here and they're gone. Okay, well, what if they come back? What happens if tomorrow they find Nancy buried in the backyard of her house and 10,000 more national media folks show back up? Are you still going to arrest me then? You see, that would be what the question would be under the First Amendment, freedom of the press, freedom of speech. It doesn't matter if you're a citizen journalist or if you're, you've gone to school like Karen to work for the LA Times. Okay. You have the right to stand on the same property with a camera and film anything in a public open forum. That's the United States of America. I didn't make the rules. That's the rules. But in this situation, Nanos made a decision. He ordered his staff to order their staff to go do something. And so what did they do? They go down there and they start hooking people up and charging them with nuisance, all this other stuff. In one case, they go hands-on. And the guy is pushing back and going, why are you arresting me? What did I do? And he's a diabetic, by the way. So we don't know if he's having a diabetic, coma or incident, or he's about ready to, go nuts, because sometimes that's what diabetics do. And that's called Graham versus Connor. There's actually a Supreme Court decision about that. If somebody is having, a diabetic problem, okay, and they hook this guy up and they charge him with resisting and all this other stuff. Okay. Yeah. You can see on.
We all watched it. Alex wasn't resisting. Like, that's the one thing I will step up for that. Like, Alex wasn't resisting. When that one officer fell down, well, Alex was shifting and moving around as the one officer was trying to handcuff him and like it was hurting or something. And then the other officer was grabbing his other arm at the same time. And yeah, I get that point. I get it. It's funny. Like, as we watched, I'm sure all of you agree with me, as we all watched that happen live, right? When Alex is being arrested, I could feel the stress of the officers as well watching it. You could tell that, again, the officers were like, God damn, like they just didn't want to do it. They were doing something they didn't want to do. They knew that it was probably going to become a problem,
Video where he's pushing back. Fine. But what was the reason you hooked him up in the first place?
Hi,
because that's going to be what the courts are going to look at. And when you see situations like that, you go, wait a minute. There are 4 incidents here. 3 of them get thrown out. And one of them, they don't like the way the guy looks. I don't know.
So let's bring this back to the inmate situation.
Right.
Okay. Because all
And Juice was doing nothing. Nothing. They just arrested him for being there. And if I remember right, the sheriff had come out and actually talked to them, like, say, 2 hours before that. And the sheriff that was there before that were like, yeah, you're okay. It led on that they were okay to be there. Like, no problems. It's just, yeah, seriously messed up. Really is. But I don't agree with, I have to just keep saying that. I don't agree with harassing the neighbors. Like, you know, so, yeah. So, but I do believe that, like, a lesson needs to be learned here. Get what I'm saying? Lesson needs to be learned here.
of this is all under Sheriff Nanos's leadership. All of this is they're all intertwined, and it's this idea that they can kind of do what he wants. He can do what he wants.
And
I mean, think about it. He got away for 40 years with nobody knowing about beating the prisoner in El Paso Police Department till it came out in March, just a couple months ago, and then all hell broke loose in terms of him and his job. The Board of Supervisors called him in essentially and said, "Explain this," and he did through his attorney. And it wasn't satisfactory for many people. Now, the board decided not to fire sheriff. They decided,
Right.
remember? And they referred the perjury item that we talked about at the top of the show to the Arizona Attorney General. She, we understand, has completed an investigation and is preparing to make a decision on whether or not to indict him, Sheriff Nanos, on a perjury charge. Right?
Wow.
Okay, so all these things are commingled. They're all under his leadership, and a lack of transparency and not being forthright with the public and having this I don't care attitude and kicking the can down the road, all of this comes to bear. We see this in the Nancy Guthrie investigation. We've been seeing this for months, and we saw this right from the beginning at the very first press conference, right? So,
and this is so important what Karen's talking about, because if we think about what this guy's MO is, and we see this, you're going to see this here in a second, and we're setting this up, and you see what his people are willing to do. And they're willing to do it because they're put into a no-win situation.
Right.
They're put into a circle.
They don't want to get fired. So they're doing what wow. Hi, Renee. Hi, everybody. Come on in. Thanks for being here. Hit the thumbs up button for me. Let me check my likes. What are my likes at, everybody? Got 79 likes. Keep the likes up, please. We got 166 in here. Everybody, please hit the like button for me. It gets my channel out in the algorithm. It really, really helps me out, okay?
Circumstance that if they don't do it, and there is a deputy right now that was just suspended, the one I was talking about earlier by this captain. This captain told him, "You will get a search warrant." And he said, "Sir, I can't. I don't have probable cause to go search that house. I need that to go to a court." And the captain said, "I don't care. Get the search warrant."
That's crazy. Jules, thank you so much, Steph. Thank you for the jamming. Thank you, Steph. Hope you're doing good, girl. You look like you're doing fantastic. I'm loving watching your photos of all your stuff lately. You look beautiful.
He refused to do it. Good for him. And what happened? They suspended him. Right now, he's on suspension. Now, does this make sense when a second deputy is told, "You want the same result?" "No, sir. You better get a search warrant." And then they hit that house. And guess what? They don't find anything. They're looking for a green shirt because the victim's dog bit the suspect. And the suspect's in custody. They booked his car. And the shirt was probably in the car. And they didn't do the search warrant on the car. They did a search warrant on a friend's house that he said he was at. See, I know Navarro. I know the story.
Wow.
Okay? And guess what? They don't find it. So now that deputy that wrote that second search warrant without the probable cause to find that shirt, okay, is liable.
Yeah.
Is liable.
Now, this does not bode well for the Nancy Guthrie investigation. What do I mean by that? This is the same culture that is going on with the Nancy Guthrie investigation. I'm not saying that people are getting search warrants illegally for the Nancy Guthrie case. I'm saying the leadership with Nanos, for sure for the Nancy Guthrie case, for this, what you're talking about, for the inmates that have been killed, that have died in the Pima County Jail, it's the same culture. It's the same, well, I'll call it a corrupted culture. That's what has me worried about the Nancy Guthrie case, if it's ever going to be solved. If Nanos had left the homicide team and the people, even though they were inexperienced, we were told, to do their job, work well with the FBI, I would have more confidence. Everything is routed through the sheriff. And to underscore this, I just want to talk about transparency for a minute. We know that with the Nancy Guthrie investigation, the sheriff stopped giving press conferences after the first week. It's now been 6 months. He does the
Yeah, he stopped doing press conferences. All right. You could tell he just can't, he couldn't do it, right? He couldn't handle it. He ended up saying totally the wrong things. Thank you for the gold coin, BB. Thank you very much, hon. I appreciate you. Won't let me send a gold coin, but not a super chat? It won't let you guys do super chats? It should let you. It should let you do super chats. It looks like it's working fine on my phone. Thank you for thinking of me. I would appreciate super chats. That'd be fantastic. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, they're bringing up such amazing points here.
These one-off interviews with local media, and he says a bunch of contradictory things. No one's able to pin him down to get a straight answer. He's given like 2 answers for every question that the media has about the case. He hasn't been transparent. Now, for this inmate death situation, let's look at how he has not been transparent with the jail deaths. Some of the inmate deaths have not been reported to the media or the public for days.
Hang on.
Know all the things we know, and we still need to know what you know, because there's something out there that we don't know.
Okay, go ahead. Thanks, Sheriff.
In at least one case, not even the inmate's lawyer was told that the inmate died in the cell, in the jail.
Now, do the math on that.
Yeah. It's shocking. It's really shocking. But there's, again, this goes to the culture. Why is there no transparency? In many cases, deceased inmates have been misidentified to the public. Wrong name, wrong age, wrong whatever. The family.
Krista, thank you so much, honey. Thank you for being a member and a moderator for me, babe. I love ya. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Sun on my nose, tail on a roll, little paws tap tap, I'm ready to go. I found the ball, I found the gate, I found your smile and it feels so great. Leaning close, I love you. One happy jump and we.
June saying, I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, so let's keep going. You're at work? Okay. Have an easy time at work. Don't bust your ass too hard, okay? June for president. I know. Isn't she adorable? I know. I have a beautiful dog. I love my dog so much. So go, everybody, please subscribe to June's channel as well, okay? I'm trying to get June's channel up and going. She's got like 200 subscribers, which is fantastic. Yeah. We've got our bumper. We got a sticker on the truck now, and it's got the QR code, and it's got the "Hi, it's me, June." It's so cute. And you're at work also, Steph. Okay, I'm so glad you ladies are listening to me while you're at work. Do you want me to like sing and shit? I can sing, keep you entertained, make you laugh out loud, so your coworkers are like, "What is she laughing at?"
Of one young man who died behind bars was not notified for months. For months. I'm not making this up. This has all been widely reported. And even when the media had called the sheriff's department or his public information office about a jail death, they are put off. They're not given information. Totally, totally unacceptable.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and imagine being the family of one of these individuals and not even knowing that your loved one has been gone for weeks.
Yeah, it's completely unacceptable.
I mean, who can do that? Who can do that?
And get away with it.
And that's why this email is running by right up here. You have a chance.
I will send you, Krista, in your next Mini Lux box, I will send you stickers. They're the cutest stickers. I'll send you stickers. I'm going to do, I haven't done it yet, but I'm also going to do stickers for my channel, Another Realm, and stickers for my store, Spirit Whispers Botanicals. So those of you getting your Mini Lux boxes, you'll be getting stickers too.
Right now, Tucson, to talk to this AG and say, indict this guy for perjury. You have a chance right now. The Board of Supervisors has recommended the AG indict him for perjury. If you don't do it, you're stuck.
For another 2 years with this guy.
And he's going to keep doing it. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Okay. These people.
Okay, here is June's channel. Here is Junie's channel. Everybody, please subscribe to my June. That's June's channel. Please go show my puppo some love. She's such a good girl. Okay, let's keep going.
People deserve your action. All these names, because let me show you one of the things that this guy is up to.
Let me set this up again if you're just joining us. The local Tucson PBS station, they did a really good expose documentary on the deaths in Pima County Jail. This reporter that you're going to see in this clip, his name is John Washington. Shout out, kudos to him.
Great job.
He did a great job. You'll see him. He sits down with Nanos and he's trying to press him for answers about what he's got on body cam, about what's going on in the jail, Sheriff Nanos' jail.
Wow.
Okay, if you're in the state of Arizona, if you're just somebody from Arizona, and quite frankly, anywhere in the world, email the AG with that number going ahead, because
it's an email. It's not a phone number.
Just watch this. And if this doesn't change your mind, Lord forbid, in any way, shape, or form, if somebody in your family ends up in the Pima County jail system under the leadership of Chris Nanos. Watch this.
The ultimate authority of the jail.
Thank you so much. Thank you from June. Thank you.
Sun on my nose, tail on a roll, little paws tap tap, I'm ready to go. I found the ball, I found the gate, I found your smile and it feels so great. Leaning close, I've got a plan. One happy jump and we all can. Hi, it's me June. Hi, it's me June. Wagging through the day, making every heart bloom. Hi, it's me June. Hi, it's me June. Kiss your cheek, then I zoom, 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 zoom.
I love that so much. I zoom, zoom, zoom. I love it so much. Thank you very much. Okay.
Rests with the sheriff, Chris Nanos. But as we were doing this reporting, everything we uncovered, we realized we needed to go back to him to understand whether or not what we were hearing was true. So we've heard a lot of stories about people being abused or beaten up by the guards. We got some footage of a person who was multiply tased and was badly beaten up in order to give him a shot. And we wanted to show that to the sheriff and ask him what he thought. We recently got some incident report and a body cam footage of an incident that happened in February where someone was in getting court-ordered treatment. And I wondered if I could show you the video that we got, and just to see how you assess it and to help us walk through, like,
oh, look at his face. Oh my God.
See when getting court incident report and a body cam footage of an incident that happened in February where someone was in getting court-ordered treatment. And I wondered if I could show you the video that we got.
Oh, he looks so nervous. Oh my gosh. Look at that. He looks so nervous, pissed off and nervous. Wow.
Just to see how you assess it and to help us walk through.
Nervous.
Like what you see when turning off the video.
Is this at my jail or where's
This
this?
is your jail, yeah.
See the taser? After the taser? Go in. Go right now. Right.
Come up and get tased. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind.
Skip had just a little bit of just 3 tases, and then about right here.
You're breaking my finger. Stop. Stop resisting. I'm not resisting anymore. Walk up. All right, dude, you're breaking my arm. All right, big boy.
So he gets the shot.
Ready for the shot? I'm not moving. Yeah.
So it goes on for a few more minutes. We get down the hall. And just kind of curious your reaction. Given the challenges of someone refusing treatment, how was the officer's use of force appropriate there?
Wow.
Well, one, I don't know enough of what you're showing me. You're just showing the fight.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened prior to that. For me to comment on what they did there would be inappropriate because I don't see the pretext. What happened before? And so I think that those COs did what they needed to do to constrain him. Tasers are just another tool. It's all about trying to gain compliance and gain control. Tasers are just another tool. It's all about trying to gain compliance and gain control. And it was affected.
So, just again.
They tased the guy. They had the taser out and tased him oh my God, that's so wrong. Let's watch that again.
Being abused or beaten up by the guards. We got some footage of a person who was multiply tased and was badly beaten up in order to give him a shot. And we wanted to show that to the sheriff and ask him what he thought. We recently got some incident report and a body cam footage of an incident that happened in February where someone was in getting court-ordered treatment. And I wondered if I could show you the video that we got just to see how you assess it and to help us walk through what you see when you watch the video.
Is this at my jail or where's
this? This is your jail, yeah.
You need a taser? After the taser, go in, go right now. Right.
How far can you get tased? Put your hand behind your back.
So they had it planned to tase him the minute they opened the door. Huh.
Skip had just a little bit of just 3 tases, and then about right here.
You're breaking my finger. Stop. Stop resisting. I'm not resisting anymore. Walk up. All right, dude, you're breaking my arm. All right, big boy.
So he gets the shot.
Ready for the shot? I'm not moving. Yeah.
So it goes on for a few more minutes. We get down the hall. And just kind of curious your reaction. Given the challenges of someone refusing treatment, how was the officer's use of force appropriate there?
Well, one, I don't know enough of what you're showing me. You're just showing the fight.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened prior to that. For me to comment on what they did there would be inappropriate because I don't see the pretext. What happened before? And so I think that those COs did what they needed to do to constrain him. Tasers are just another tool. It's all about trying to gain compliance and gain control. And it was affected.
So just again, you think that is within the realm of appropriate, the
yeah, with what you show me, and you're told, here's a court order, get him injected. They have to do that, and they have to do it in the safest manner, not just for the inmate, but for themselves as well, and of course the medical staff.
According to a use of force review.
What do you guys think of that? Tell me in the chat what each of you feel. Some of you, it's angry, right? Yeah, how do you feel about that? They could have gone about that so many different ways.
So let's talk about this real fast.
Okay, and we probably should have put a warning that it was disturbing video coming up. I watched that and my stomach turns. I think it's sickening watching that.
Well, there's a couple things here. First of all, he says tasers are a tool. Number one. All right. That's exactly right. They are a tool. But do you use that tool first or do you wait for the resistance? They went in with the intent to taser him. They say it at the door. We're going to taser him. He's sitting on the bed. You have 4 deputies coming in. Why do you need a taser? I've been in that situation 100 times.
It's getting hot. I just realized it's like 30 degrees in my room here. So hopefully my air conditioner is not too loud.
Street. If the individual starts to comply or resist just a little, and you can take him down, then that's what you do. That's what they do. Okay. The fact that there was a court order to give him a shot, that's fine. You have a job to do, the deputies needed to do, or the corrections officers needed to do what they needed to do. That's not a problem. Okay? The problem is, again, this attitude that Nanos has.
I wonder what the shot was for. court ordered to have a shot. I wonder what the shot was for. Just for a minute, I thought, I wonder if it was for COVID. Did they force the inmates to take COVID shots? Anybody know the answer to that? During COVID time? Right?
Where he makes excuses for absolutely everything.
Okay.
And you know where we heard this first?
Okay.
We heard it in the press conference with Nancy Guthrie. Remember what he said, honey?
Yeah, he said, I don't expect you. I expect you to hold me to my word.
And
Remember that?
Yep. And he said, I'm not used to this. And then he also said, well, we'll let the court sort that out.
Right. When he was asked about, I don't even know if it was the mat, but yeah, it was about, or no, I think it was about when they arrested or when they made those, the stops for Carlos and then the other person.
Do you guys all remember that? Do you remember where he just said, he just blew it off like, yeah, who cares? Okay.
We'll let the court sort that out. As opposed to, gosh, I should probably be following the law.
Do you see the same thing setting up here? Go arrest those YouTubers. For what? Just go do it. Go give this guy a shot. Okay. No problem. And taser him when you need to. Okay. Go get a search warrant without probable cause. Well, I don't have probable cause. Just go do it or you're suspended. Okay. There's a theme here. Okay. Take the cafeteria money out of the funds so the FBI can start a RICO investigation. Do you think we should do that, Sheriff? It's been going on for years. I'm keeping it moving. Not a problem. Okay. Oh, by the way, I lied on my application because I really did have 37 days off in my career, and I beat the crap out of people. Put one of them in ICU where it was recommended I be prosecuted and sent to prison alongside of these other individuals.
But instead, he was allowed to resign.
Go get the 3 YouTubers down there and put the 4th one in a position where he has to resist because we don't like the way the person looks, because that's what the neighbors say. You see where I'm going here on this thing? Okay. And look at the results finishing this piece of the puzzle.
Conducted by the Sheriff's Department, the officer's actions were deemed as reasonable and appropriate. Despite guards punching him a dozen times in the face and multiply tasing him, Brooks was charged with assaulting staff.
Now think about this. The guy that's in custody, they're going to give him a shot. The deputy beats him, hits him 12 times. They taser him multiple times. And guess what they end up doing? They charge that guy.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Sound familiar, Alex? The YouTuber.
Hi, Lake Life. Welcome, Lake Life. Good to see you.
They put him in a position to where they could charge him. Guess what? This seems to be a pattern. This seems to be a pattern at the behest of the sheriff. You can't make this stuff up.
Disruptive conduct and 4 other violations. We reached out to the sheriff again for comment, but he did not respond.
No surprise there.
So, thoughts?
Yeah. Pretty unbelievable.
We can't make this stuff up, guys. You cannot make this stuff up. We are seeing a pattern here. And if anybody who has connections with DOJ or the Civil Rights Division there in Phoenix, the FBI, please show them this video. They need to get in there and monitor this agency one more time. They need to hear from citizens that this sheriff has walked all over. There needs to be an oversight of this sheriff and his agency. Not all the deputies. There are probably, I would guarantee you, 8 out of 10 deputies doing the right thing.
Yep.
It's the command staff. And you know what was an irony that Karen pointed out today? The lieutenant who was running against him to become sheriff, where did he transfer her?
And that's Lieutenant Heather Lapin. He transferred her to the jail.
Where there's the most liability and exposure. He put her in a no-win situation.
Mm-hmm.
He not only prevented her from winning by 500 votes.
Well, he prevented her from having a fair and honest race against him. Because remember, you guys, 3 weeks before, he put her on admin leave, which was essentially like a house arrest. And lo and behold, he ends up winning the election by a handful of votes. And then he gets sued for civil rights violations. Again, that she sues him. And then he allegedly lies under oath. And now we have the perjury matter that's at the hands of the state attorney general's office right now. And decisions are going to be made very soon of whether or not Sheriff Nanos is indicted on a perjury charge. If you hold office in Arizona, you cannot be a convicted felon. If there is no indictment, and once again, the law, is bent for him, he's in there another 2 years until his term is up. And still to this day, nobody but YouTubers are pointing this out.
And well, the press did. They did a great job.
They did. The local press
PBS.
did.
You can go see this on PBS. And what's the gentleman's name? Washington?
John Washington.
John Washington. He did a great expose on this whole thing. It's really, really, really interesting.
Now, while we're wrapping this up, I want to talk about solutions. And because I don't want to leave you guys thinking this is, no one's talking about this in Tucson. No, everybody, the public officials in Tucson know that this has been an ongoing issue and an ongoing problem. I don't know if they all watched that PBS special and actually saw the footage that we just did, which is highly disturbing. I'm hoping they did.
And there's more on that PBS special.
Yeah, there's a lot more.
We couldn't show it all.
But, there's an advocacy group. They're called No Jail Deaths. These are the family and friends of inmates who've died at the jail. They continue to be vocal and speak out in the community. The Board of Supervisors has had several so-called blue ribbon commissions to examine the jail death problem in depth. There's different ideas. Sheriff Nanos has floated the idea, well, let's build a new jail. Let's charge the taxpayers a half cent for the so-called jail tax. And by the way, the number is about $850 million plus to build a new jail. And you guys always know that number always goes up. And not only that, it would take years. And, but if you're going to transport the same leadership to the new jail, then what's the point of having a new jail? There was also talk of building a new 3,100 bed medical facility adjacent to the jail to address the mental health issue and crisis and drug abuse cases. But nobody can agree on what to do. And literally nothing has been done at the government official level.
We have it sounds like she's talking about Canada here. It's exactly the same thing here. Exactly the same.
About this.
It's just crazy. I've not seen it. Yeah, I was talking to John and a couple of my other buddies, and we're like scratching our heads going, you got to be kidding me. Can it get worse? But you have more information, don't you? You couldn't stick this all into one program, or did you?
There is a lot out there. There's a lot. And, so some people have asked, well, what does this have to do with the Nancy Guthrie investigation? Well, it does. There's a crossover. The inmate deaths in Pima County Jail and the Nancy Guthrie investigation, they both affect public trust, political scrutiny, and confidence in, or lack thereof, in Sheriff Nanos. The public confidence in the sheriff's department, if you already knew about the inmate death situation, then when you look at the Nancy Guthrie case, you may not have confidence that her case can be solved. You've got tons of questions about transparency. Sheriff Nanos is not transparent. He's not transparent about the jail deaths to the media, the public, or even inmates' attorneys or families. And I would argue that he's definitely not transparent about anything more with the Nancy Guthrie case. He'll give a few one-off interviews to local media, but again, he's contradicting himself. And people who already distrust Nanos because of the jail controversy, they're going to be more likely to question any investigative decision he makes, any communications he gives in the Nancy Guthrie case. So they really do kind of overlap, There's increased scrutiny of his leadership, of course. I mean, there should have been increased scrutiny with Nanos during the election process, but none of it came out. It came out during, of course, the Nancy Guthrie investigation. And I mean, we can go down the list of why.
This every time I look at this picture of porch guy, I see a woman. I see a woman. I know many of you see it too. I think I know which woman too. Crazy. I totally, yeah.
Increased scrutiny with Nanos during the election process, but none of it came out. It came out during, of course, the Nancy Guthrie investigation. And I mean, we can go down the list of why people don't have confidence in Nanos.
My readings tell me who it is. Yeah. You guys know me too. When I do readings on like suspects and stuff, I'm usually bang on every time. And I'm sure of it. We'll have to wait and see. You can't pass the eyes like it. And the eyes, if you look, especially us women out there, okay, women who like to enjoy their makeup and do makeup and stuff, you understand what I'm saying? They have sunken eyes right here in the eye cavity. They have the sunken eyes, and their eyelids in the corner are like sunken and larger there. And then on the outer side, they have hooded eye. Yeah. So look, yeah, and eyeliner remnants right there. Yeah. So the sunken eye and then the hooded eye. Yeah, totally. It's crazy. Definitely woman. I could be wrong, of course, but yeah.
If the jail situation and if his lying on his previous resume were not enough, we can just look. Let's go down the list of things that we've seen in the last several months with the Guthrie case. Nanos admitted that he released the crime scene too soon. We know that. He kept the FBI out for the first 4 days, the most critical, crucial early hours of the investigation. We know that from the FBI director, he said that. Nanos sent the DNA to his lab, not the FBI lab. They literally had a plane on standby, right? That goes to communication and control and not wanting to send the DNA to the feds. He wanted to send it to his lab. And again, nothing wrong with his lab, but again, it's in the misstep category. They never searched the community for Porch Guy. I mean, I know some YouTubers or some streamers were out handing out Porch Guy flyers in that Estevan Park area that we visited.
Tucson 857, that guy's out there. All Juice is out there. I mean, these guys are out there doing what the sheriff should be doing.
But the homicide investigators need to be doing this. That's the point. It's not going on. And again, it all reflects with Nanos' leadership.
The email's right up above, running on a ticker.
Yeah. Nanos said in one interview to local media, he's no longer talking with the family. That sent Chris over the edge. I mean, to this day, it's like, why is he not talking to the family? What happened? We don't get a straight answer. No transparency there. Nanos is reportedly micromanaging the homicide team when he's never worked a murder. We know that. He's for sure not letting his public information officer do his job. Everything has to be routed through Nanos, and they either don't get back to you, they don't respond. And then I was thinking about what reporter Brianna Whitney shared when she was talking about,
no, I don't think so. No. According to my readings, it is not SG. No. But I could be wrong. But no.
She released a few days ago the full context of the first ransom note, and she did it on Crime Junkie, where she works. And she said within the first week, it was around 10 o'clock. She was in, she's Phoenix Media, but she was in Tucson. They were going to air, and they wanted to ask Nanos a follow-up question about the DNA. And do you remember what Nanos responded back on a text?
I forget.
He said, do you know what time it is?
Get over it or something?
Give it a rest.
Give it a rest.
Give it a rest.
Give it a rest. It's like, you got to be kidding me. Who does that?
That sent you.
That sent me.
That sent her
I was
up
like,
the wall.
oh my gosh. I can't believe Brianna hung on to that for 6 months and just shared it now. Doesn't surprise us. And these things have contributed to broader questions about departmental management under Nanos. Again, this is the rank and file, we believe, are doing their level best. They got into police work not to make a lot of money. They want to help the community, and their hearts are in the right place. Nanos, his leadership has been an unmitigated disaster. And in our research, in talking to people about this, one insider told us, quote, "It's safer to be outside the Pima County jail than inside due to all the documented problems." I mean, if that's not scary, I don't know what is.
Well, and if you think about the whole picture here, this individual is who Nancy saw standing over her. What does it take for a law enforcement agency to say, she's not in that house right now? Let's get out on the street.
Yep.
And find out where this guy is or who this guy is.
And still I always say this, still to this day, there's been no search party. No official search for Nancy at all. I can't even fathom that. Speaking of which, AJ, if you're watching, check your email, please. I've sent you a really important email. AJ, paging AJ. Can you please check your email, AJ? Thank you.
Is instead of waiting for the DNA to come back, why not be proactive and get on with it?
Well, and to your point, Chris, that DNA could come back belonging to a family member.
Correct.
That's not going to provide any clue as to who Porch Guy is.
And it won't change a thing. In fact, it will set them back to square one. And I talked about this last night on the lab about how this whole thing's going to come, I think, full circle. I've been saying it from day one.
What do you mean full circle?
Well, you need to be proactive. If you want to find this guy, you just can't wait for the technology side of things. And the problem with Nanos is he has said it from day one. Technology will solve this crime. No, that is not a true statement. Technology will assist. What will solve this crime is the willingness to get out there and find out who this person is, to compare this person's DNA with the DNA that's coming back. Don't wait. Go get it. Get out there. I don't think she's far.
Reading wise, Rhonda, I would say no. I don't think so, no. Like when it comes to the actual crime of Nancy, I don't believe Nanos is involved at all. I don't believe he's covering for someone, but I do believe he has seriously screwed up this case.
In terms of, and our audience knows, I'm not of the belief that she is alive. I'm of the belief that this gentleman here, and I only call him a gentleman because.
And I am going to say, those of you that surf the YouTube streets and stuff, any of you, please, if you talk to AJ, the guy that's searching in Tucson, please tell him to check his email. Like, it's really fucking important. Okay? Like, really important. I think I emailed him. It's been 2 days now, and I've not heard anything back. Please tell him to check his email, okay?
He's not. Don't misunderstand what I mean by that. This person, this evil person, knows where she is. And we need to find out who this person is. And the people that know who this person is are the same people in the jails that Nanos is tasing and beating.
Okay, I just got to stop it for a second here. Look at this little cutie patootie laying here. Look at this doggo just laying here. Not giving a care in the world. I'm a good doggo. I just have my little rest. My mom and dad are always working. They're always in this stupid office. So cute. Looks like a little sausage right here.
And we're reporting on tonight.
That's a really good point.
There's a nexus between the street and those that go to jail. And those that go to jail for different reasons, right? If they have drug problems or whatever. Guess what? There's a lot of people who have drug addictions who, when they're clean, are really good people.
Yep.
But they suffer. And don't misunderstand me. I'm not making excuses for crimes that they commit. But we don't ever look at what got this person into that situation in the first place. And I've shared this many times on our program here, where there's people on the street that don't want to be there themselves, but they have addiction problems. Those are the kind of folks you need to be talking to. You notice there's $1,200,000 reward, and not a single person has stepped forward and say, I'll take that.
Right.
If that is not a symphony.
So that explains everything for me. $1.2 million reward, and they haven't stepped forward. Well, hello. They haven't stepped forward because, if I'm right on my readings, they haven't stepped forward because they can't. They can't step forward. They can't claim that money.
Being heard around the world that the reward may not work, then I don't know what is. And that may tell us something. as much as nobody wants to hear it. It may be closer than people think. I don't know. I can tell you this. We have not, and the sheriff has not, and the investigators have not identified this guy yet. Yeah, I mean, going to the streets is not going to, is removing him. I love your thought process, but it won't remove him. What will remove him is that email address right above you, right above us. They have an opportunity right now within the decision will be made within the next 10 days of whether or not this attorney general is going to indict him. Now, that's the window right now. If we've got over 10,600 people here right now in this stream, if every one of you hit that email and said, we want Sheriff Nanos indicted for perjury.
Yep.
The power will be in your hands. Because that AG is also an elected official. And if they do nothing with clear evidence that this guy lied on his resume, and
the perjury matter was under oath for a civil lawsuit during the deposition.
And he lied on his resume.
Yes.
And that's just a couple of things that we have found. I mean, we did a whole program on this.
We've done multiple programs on his background.
Why does this matter?
Wow.
Because when they do get the suspect and Nanos has been discredited, guess what? You're not going to put that guy on if you're the defense now. You'd put him on for your defendant, for your guy, if he was the sheriff.
Right. I mean, I'm just saying hypothetically, if the sheriff was indicted and had to step down,
you're
that
good.
could be a real boon for the
Nancy
Guthrie
case.
investigation.
That's a kicker, man.
Now you've got a better chance
of winning
because you could explain all the missteps the first week.
Because he was a dirtbag.
It's the dirtbag defense.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, your chances of getting a prosecution just probably went up.
You don't even need this guy.
Extent.
Yeah, right now, he's in the hands of the defense, whoever hurt Nancy Guthrie. He's in their hands when they get that guy. Let's take him out of the hands of the defense and make him useless. Because there's not a defense attorney that's going to put him on as a character witness for their guy who may have harmed Nancy Guthrie. But they'll put him on to destroy the investigation. So let's take that tool away from him. And the AG right now can do that.
She has the power.
She has the power. She has the power. And you have the power. If you live in the state of Arizona and you're watching this program tonight, you can make a difference.
What about if people live in other states? Would the Arizona Attorney General not take that into consideration?
Put the pressure on him, everybody. Put the pressure on him. Send Kelly the same concept.
Saying what to Mark Kelly?
We want him gone.
Yeah, but what can Mark Kelly do?
He's a senator.
But he's an elected official just like Nanos.
And that's exactly the point. That politicians don't like
controversy,
especially
when it's about themselves.
And especially when you brought a box of donuts. And I agree. Look at the meatloaf in the background. He is so cute. Buddy. He is so cute. He's such a nut job. And thank you guys for loving him as much as we love him. He is.
Okay, so I'm going to switch up the video for a second. I just found the first interview Nanos ever did for the Nancy Guthrie case. We're going to watch that for a second. So everybody, please take 2 seconds and hit that thumbs up button for me. Let's see. Yeah, thank you for hitting the likes. If you're new and you're in the background, and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And those of you that have been here for a while, please consider becoming a member or getting memberships for other people, purchasing memberships and sharing them to the people that can't afford it. They called their dog Meatloaf. Well, I said he's a little sausage. He's a kitty sausage. Okay, so this is Nanos' very first interview.
But we're looking for a missing person. Nancy.
Oh, and of course it's too quiet. Oh, I remember right. This one sounds terrible. Okay, you're gonna have to turn your headphones right up. This one, the sound is really bad.
But we're looking for a missing person. Nancy Guthrie, I think we sent out a media release to all of you. Came to our attention, we got a call, a 911 call, that Miss Guthrie was reported missing from her home. That call came in around noon earlier today. Our teams came out, our search and rescue team, being supported by our volunteers from Search and Rescue Association, from PSAR, from Border Patrol. They gave us their search and rescue dogs. We've pretty much just thrown everything at this as we can. Miss Guthrie is 84 years old, and is not of good physical health. And so naturally we have some great concerns. The scene at the house also has some concerns for us as well. And so that's why we're doing all we can to try to locate her. We've contacted and remain in contact with all of our local area hospitals, our medical transport teams. So far, that's proven to lead nowhere. We will continue to search as we are right now with our survey, our air assets. We use drones and our airplane or our helicopter.
Okay. Okay, right there he says we used our airplane or helicopter, he said. Didn't one of you tell me in the beginning of this live stream that, or maybe it was what we watched, that the airplane pilot's officer had actually been suspended? If anybody can let me know about that. You got your order yesterday? Yay! I'm so glad. Thank you for ordering with me. Thank you so much, Renee. Okay, let's keep going. So yeah, the sound on this is really low. Just read the captionings.
We'll be at this all night, processing the house. And then tomorrow morning we'll start again with our search and rescue mission and try to regroup and see what else we can do. Maybe we've missed something. But I don't need to tell you, this is very concerning to us. You don't typically get the sheriff out at a scene like this, but it's very concerning what we're learning from the house. And so we'll just continue. The detectives there, our homicide team is out right now looking at the scene as well.
What is it about the scene that concerns you?
Yeah, the audio on this is terrible.
I think we're all wondering, can you confirm that this is Savannah Guthrie's mom?
This is Mrs. Guthrie's mom, yes.
And you can't tell us anything about what the house
demoted, yeah.
What I would tell you is we get these calls quite often, listening people, and we do a pretty good job of searching the areas and alerting the media with our media releases. But this one stood out because of what was described to us at the scene.
What?
Job of searching these calls quite often, listening people, and we do a pretty good job of searching the areas and alerting the media with our media releases. But this one stood out because of what was described to us at the scene, what we found located just in looking at the scene. So without getting into too much details, I have to allow my team to do their investigation, and they are going to be doing that. They are in the process of those things.
Is there anything meaningful about it being homicide detectives, or is that standard?
You know, it's not standard. Typically, our homicide team comes out when we have a homicide, a body. This one was of great concern.
So it's because they found the blood in the house.
No, I hope it's not. I hope we find her.
The pilot was demoted, right? Okay.
But we can't ignore what's in front of us, and we need to
So he just lied then.
And deal with what's the evidence is.
In my opinion.
You said physical factors, like, physical things, but like also does she have dementia or Alzheimer's, any mental?
No, she's what's being reported by family is she's very has no cognitive issues at all. She's very alert, very of good sound mind. Just some physical. 84 years old, and especially now it's as cold as it is. She has some physical ailments that limit her ability to move around.
There were some neighbors also looking around for Nancy. Are the neighbors looking around? Is that a help to you?
Well, absolutely. I mean, we in the immediate area, we ourselves with our dog teams and our search and rescue teams, we'd ask them to stay out of that area. But we certainly understand their concerns too. And if they happen across, find anybody or see something, anything, call 911.
How cold did it get? Oh, she was missing overnight, I take it? She was.
Well, she was last seen at about 9:30, 9:45 last night.
9:30, 9:45. Do you know how cold it got last night? Is that a concern?
You know, you guys are going to know that better than I.
Is that a concern, though?
Well,
It does get really cold in Arizona in the wintertime. It's amazing. It's actually really surprising at how cold it gets. High desert, it's yeah. Yeah, exactly. He won't be able to lie in front of God. Exactly. Such a good point.
Cool right now, 84 years old. I'm cold. Yeah, no, it's
So when
obviously
she was last seen, a family had dropped her off at home. Is that correct?
she was last seen by family at 9:45, at 9:30, 9:45.
And did they see her in the home?
Yes.
And who called in the
Family at 9:45. And
her off at home? Is that correct?
she was last seen by family at 9:45, at 9:30, 9:45.
And did they see her in the home?
Yes.
And who called in the missing report?
The family.
You want,
Did you notice he turns away? I noticed that during this. He turns away, blatantly turns away from this reporter for some reason. She's asking excellent questions. Did they see her in the home at 9:45? I can't get it to go up any higher. Unfortunately, it's maxed. It's just quiet. So she asked specifically, did the family see her in the home at that time? And he said yes.
I don't have that name in front of me.
and is Savannah Guthrie in Tucson or on her way?
She is not here. No.
What are some things like if someone sees something or like what are some things like people should be watching out for in this case?
If maybe you ran into her, maybe she wandered off and you ran into her. If you've seen her or anybody like her, call us. Even being of good sound mind, you could have an incident that happen that causes you to lose some of your soundness. But I just would tell you that, look, if you've seen this woman since 9:30 last night at any time, give us a call. Let us know.
And you said that you've checked with hospitals, and what else have you guys done?
Well, all of the medical transport teams in the area and hospitals and that. But that's nobody's reported to us that they have her in their care.
Does it being as dark as it is here make it like more difficult to find a missing person?
Well, our night search teams, they use our infrared systems and a heat sensing system. So in some cases, it actually helps. The body can distribute.
Okay, I'm starting to get pissed off. Sorry. I'm going to end it. I'm starting to get pissed off. This guy really makes me mad. I'm going to end it. Sorry. I can't handle this guy. I just can't. His nonchalant, oh, well, maybe, just the... Makes me really angry. I'm sure it makes all of you angry too. He's answering out of his butt. Exactly. He has no clue. Yeah. All we can do is just continue to pray that something happens today or tomorrow. Again, any of you in touch with AJ, can you please tell him to check his email? I have a location that needs to be checked, like right now. Please. Yeah. Well, hopefully the Attorney General is going to be able to do something and get this guy dealt with. Okay, let's go back to Chris again.
Is an absolute lunatic.
In the best possible way.
In the best possible way. We wouldn't know, anyway.
Take some questions. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much. Esmeralda, let's see. Love your numerous videos exposing the corruption. Thanks, Chris and Karen, for spreading awareness. Praying that together we create a huge ripple effect he doesn't expect. Absolutely. We have the power. Wendy says, I'll go to my grave thinking No Nads was either involved or covering up something.
No Nads.
Wendy Reagan says, hats off for your dedication, Chris and Karen.
Thank you. That's a great comment, Wendy. And one thing I learned about my sweetheart many, many years ago, a lot of this obviously is her tenacity.
That's it.
I got to tell you, I'm a bulldog. Okay.
Okay. So that was the end of it. So I'm going to wrap it up there. We are at almost 3 hours. I don't think the DA will do anything to him. Yeah, you could be right, Shirley. We'll have to wait and see, right? So yeah, so I think I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you all for being here. I love you all. Please hit the thumbs up before you leave. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I appreciate all the love and support. We will be on again tomorrow. I've got a live stream scheduled every day this week. So I will see you tomorrow. And yeah, we will stay safe. I'm going to go check our local news and see how the fires are doing. Sebby said it smells so bad outside. So love and prayers to everybody, especially those being affected by fire right now. Stay safe, please. And I will talk to you all tomorrow. Those of you on the replay team, thank you so much for making it to the end. Love ya. Ciao. Bye.